The Canadian Armed Forces are on standby to help the wildfire situation that has deteriorated rapidly over the weekend in BC's Okanagan region. Canadian Press reporter Brenna Owen shares more from the scene.
We did learn yesterday, very sadly, that an 80-year-old woman died while trying to escape this fire in the Meadow Valley area outside Summerland. RCMP say she died suddenly, and they believe it was a result of the fire, which some residents told me was surreal and apocalyptic as it exploded in size on Friday.
Areas around Okanagan Lake were devastated by the Bald Range wildfire that roared into the outskirts of Summerland on the lake's western shore on Saturday, forcing 20,000 residents to flee, and it continues to burn out of control. Nearly $1.7 million in charitable gaming grants is being distributed to community groups across Saskatchewan through Lotteries and Gaming Saskatchewan's first quarter funding program. About 1,000 charitable and nonprofit organizations in 260 communities will benefit. Regina groups received more than $164,000, while Saskatoon organizations received more than $139,000. And someone in Saskatchewan is holding a winning Lotto 649 Gold Ball ticket worth $44 million after Saturday's draw. The ticket was purchased somewhere in the province outside of Saskatoon and Regina. The winning number is 232-02-513-03 with an exact match required to claim the prize. The winner also has 1 year to come forward. That's 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sastoday.ca and 620ckrm.com.
Weather for B&A Petroleum and Swift Current with multiple locations serving southern Saskatchewan for over 30 years. See B&A Petroleum for all your fuel and propane needs. Partly sunny today and a high of 23. Tonight, we're going to see a little more cloud roll in and drop to 10 degrees. For tomorrow, partly sunny, isolated showers and a high of 22 for Wednesday, mix of sun and cloud, maybe some spotty showers, possibly a thunderstorm and a high of 20 degrees. Partly sunny on Thursday and a high of 21 and 18 with showers likely on Friday.
B&A Petroleum is a southern Saskatchewan family-owned business that's there for you. They've been supporting their clients for over 30 years with locations in several communities throughout the southern part of the province. B&A Petroleum is available for all your bulk fuel and lubricant needs with propane at selected locations Monday to Friday. And don't forget, their Cardlock location is accessible 24 hours for your convenience. B&A Petroleum. Fuel you once, fuel you forever.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Second and 6, Riders load up the line on second and long. They'll bring the house. Mayer reads it back to pass, throws it off his back foot, and it's intercepted! The Riders secondary finally get one! It's Jonathan Edouard having a night tonight, and he picks it off for his first of the campaign.
Here he just anticipates and jumps, and Edouard knows that once Mayer looks to commit to this ball, he can't bring it down because he's going to get hit, so he gets to jump it and makes the catch low. I'm not sure the receiver would have caught that anyways, but it's a great play by 31.
Second and 5, Saskatchewan. Here comes 5-man pressure from Ottawa, thrown far side. That's complete. 5-4-3-2, touchdown! Riders! Hopping into the end zone for his first career CFL touchdown. It's the Jet, Dylan Jeté.
Finally, a receiver catches it over the middle, Dave. Trevor Harris snaps the ball, and Jeté just comes from his wide side position, breaks one tackle from the Redblacks as he catches this ball, and then he's cleared for passage to the end zone. Congratulations to Jeté. Welcome to the league.
We were so close to the end zone, I had to go score.
So 1:27 to go. Tommy Stevens moves Keyshawn Johnson in motion to the far side of the formation. fakes the handoff. Now he'll pull it, get to the corner, get to the end zone. Another hat trick for Stone Cold Tommy Stevens as he'll run it in from 7 yards out.
And this is a really good play. He knows that all of the Redblacks are just going to be diving and trying to create a pile on the line of scrimmage. He gets a good sort of upfield gap created by Yoshi Hardrick, takes advantage of it, and half a Rider Nation gets up and starts leaving because you can beat the traffic.
Yes, of course, the Saskatchewan Roughriders take the W on Friday night at Mosaic Stadium, beating the Ottawa Redblacks, who moved to 0-8 on the season. Those were our three selections for the potential play of the week from your Saskatchewan Roughriders, and we want you to vote on that. So, was it the Edouard interception? Was it Dylan Jeté getting his first career CFL touchdown? Or Stone Cold Tommy Stevens coming up clutch yet again with another hat trick? Oh, man, that WWE move on the bench, too. The Stone Cold Tommy Stevens. Oh, we love that so much. What would be your pick, Dave?
The sentimental favorite goes to probably Dylan Jeté because he battled through so much to get into the starting lineup and then get his first touchdown in his first game, I would say.
I'm a little biased because I had an opportunity to speak with him post-game on the field and just ask him about that journey, mentally staying in the game. Because, again, that was only his second time dressing for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, his first game at home. So his Mosaic Stadium debut. A lot of guys in the receiving corps banged up, so he had the opportunity, and, man, he rose to the occasion. So that's a pretty cool moment for Dylan Jeté in front of a home crowd. So people can vote on their favorite, right?
Well, and absolutely. We're putting it up at sportscage.com very soon, so folks will have an opportunity to be interactive, choose their favorite, and we'll let the player know that you selected them. But there was a moment within the moment, and I don't know that anybody caught it. And again, if you're watching our stream at sportscage.com or YouTube or X, you might be able to catch it out of the corner of your eye as well. There was a real cool moment after Jeté scored. So he gets into the end zone, right? Basically drops the ball, tries to make the celebration. I think then kind of realized that in that north end zone, the concrete barrier is a lot higher than the south end zone. Anyways, I thought it was really neat because the official scoops up the ball, and Keyshawn Johnson made sure that he got it so that he could give it to Dylan after the game. So you can see him actually pointing to the top of the helmet, saying it was his first, right? So the officials understand that's why they're taking the ball out of play. So the moment within the moment, I thought that was pretty cool. And again, Keyshawn's got the ball, gives it to Dylan, and like I say, the officials want it back, but Keyshawn points at his helmet saying, no, it's his first. We're going to keep this one.
Yeah, you got to be looking out for your teammate like that, too. He was just absolutely elated. So was everybody around him. You see Harris coming up, patting him on the back, giving him a big hug. Yoshi picks him up and gives him a big bear hug. It was a pretty special moment for Dylan Jeté. So that's got my vote and Dave's vote. I don't know about Curtis over there, but we'll maybe have to ask him in a little bit here because he's our technical producer on the Sports Cage today. Of course, it is Monday. I'm Tegan Whitco. Dave Thomas is joining me. As I mentioned, Curtis Gammon in the pocket here. And we have a busy one for you. Lots to dissect coming off of this past week in the CFL. All of our guests going to be joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek favorites you love. So right up until 6 o'clock, yes, we are going to be recapping the Riders' big home win with some exclusive reaction coming from head coach Corey May's postgame. We're also going to hear from Trevor Harris, taking you inside the Rider locker room after that Friday night victory under the big lights. We are also going to be celebrating Team Sask, a gold medal run with Valkyries head coach Pat Barry, who was also the coach of Team Saskatchewan up in Saskatoon this past week. So we're going to have Pat joining us on the show a little bit later on this hour. We got the Riders Coaches Show coming up as well. And your clutch performers, as always, Darian Durant joins us every Monday afternoon as well. So shortly after 5 o'clock, we're going to get his take on that big 42-20 win for the Riders at home this past week. Wrapping up the Regina Red Sox season as well, because that unfortunately came to a close for the defending champions of the league. They got knocked out by the Saskatoon Berries last night. So we're gonna talk with interim manager Braydon Cobb about the playoff loss and, of course, about the season and as it all transpired. You can join in the conversation anytime as well. I'm already seeing some people pop up on the YouTube chat here. Feel free to join in the conversation by texting us as well. Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. And again, you can always call us as well if you'd like. Prairie Land Rentals, from small power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need. You can deal directly with the owner at 600 Albert Street. Oh, I should also mention signing by the Saskatchewan Roughriders today. What can you tell us, Dave?
Well, the Riders went and got another Canadian receiver, and with both Samuel Emilus and Kian Schaefer-Baker out on the injured list, you can understand why they would add a receiver. And so Canadian Vaishon Janusis, So Vaishon played college ball at Guelph, which we know is going to make one of our Rider analysts extremely very happy, knowing that was where his college background was. But
shout out Justin Dunk.
Yeah, selected by the Calgary Stampeders, was there last year. Again, talented receiver, quick receiver. I thought that he showed well in Calgary. I thought he had a bright future. But right now, again, going into this season, Calgary all of a sudden has got such a plethora of Canadian receivers, not to mention the fact that they've got probably their best receiver in Reggie Begelton slowly starting to ramp up after a significant injury kept him out most of last year and all of this year thus far. So Reggie Begelton is coming back, and Ajo is now available to play as he's served his suspension and been reinstated by the CFL. So
is he eligible to start this week then?
This is his first game that he can play. So we'll have to wait and see what that lineup looks like for the Calgary Stampeders.
Against the BC Lions.
Yeah.
On Thursday night.
Very true. So again, Calgary just had a bunch of Canadian receivers. Vaishon Janusis was available, so the Riders signed him. I think that's a solid signing. And again, it'll be interesting to see how he fits in because, again, the aforementioned Dylan Jette, raw rookie, right? Mm-hmm. Second game ever. You got Daniel Weeb, also a rookie this year, and then you've got Deshaun Mims as the youngsters. But boy, what a showing they had on Friday night, because there was question marks, and I think not all questions have been answered, but a lot of them definitely has, as quarterback Trevor Harris, I think, led them all to success.
Well, and I mean, you got to look at the drafting ability by Jeremy O'Day, right? Because, I mean, you still have Keyshawn Johnson in the mix there. You have Johnny Johnson III in there. Like, you have a lot of depth in that receiving core, even aside from all the injuries. So it's been exciting to see how Mark Mueller has also been adjusting his play calling to adapt to these players.
Well, and I found it phenomenal that, I thought, okay, with a 35-second play clock, and this is just Dave Thomas thinking in his own mind, which is probably a mistake in its own right. But I thought, okay, 35-second play clock, you tell your receivers, hustle back and get in the huddle so that you can have elongated communication you wouldn't have with a 20-second clock, right? So you get them all to hustle in. Trevor can get them set up. Everybody will be on the same page. But at various times in the game, and the Riders were extremely successful when they went no huddle or up-tempo or whatever you want to call it, they were very successful. And you're calling plays at the line. So as a receiver, you got to be dialed, because not only are you making sure you know and hear the play call appropriately, but then you're making the same read and have to be on the same page as your quarterback. I think that it's no secret that a lot of the footballs in those instances went to the veteran of the bunch in Keyshawn Johnson as he went off for another night. But again, I really thought that was an excellent game plan, as it kind of kept Ottawa on their heels a touch. And with a new defensive coordinator, right, they were thinking more as opposed to playing, I would suggest, than the Roughriders were thinking more and just going out, executing and playing fast, is my 2 cents, which could be completely wrong.
All I know is that it was probably a very quiet bus ride back to the hotel for Ottawa after they fell to 0-8 this past Friday.
Yeah, and made more changes today, right? So Demario Houston, the veteran defensive back, along with Amari Henderson. So basically their 2 members of their 5 in the secondary were released today. So veteran players, and again, many would be quick to suggest and point out the fact that in the Canadian Football League, your contract is guaranteed after you play game number 9. The Ottawa Redblacks are an 0-8. So if those 2 played next week, then they would get their full salary guaranteed. So it's a tough business. It is a business, and that's likely what led to that move. But boy, again, just it seems very interesting with the Ottawa Redblacks right now. And you look at the talent, you look at their roster, they're not an 0-8 team.
No. But something's not clicking. I mean, especially when you let go Eugene Lewis.
Yeah.
What was that, just a week ago now?
Yes. And, sometimes you have too much on your plate. So I know I'm kind of, everybody feels that they've got too much on their plate at different times. But Dave Dickinson in Calgary, right? When the Stamps were struggling, one of the commonalities that was talked about in Calgary was the fact that, okay, he's the GM, he's the head coach, and he's the offensive coordinator. That's a lot to balance.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Dinwiddie has those exact same 3 titles in Ottawa right now. He's got the comfort in knowing that Sean Burke is above him in the VP role and does a lot of the player personnel stuff, as did Dave Dickinson with John Huffnagel above him. But again, that's an extremely hard workload to have to go ahead and figure out. And again, I'm not going to say he can't do it, because Ryan Dinwiddie has got more football intelligence in his pinky than I do. But I'm just saying, again, there's something off in Ottawa right now, and you know what? It's been broken for a while now, and I'm not sure how to fix it. Because, like I say, it looked like everything was right.
They also did suffer a couple of major injuries on Friday night at Mosaic Stadium, so that's certainly not helping their case, including their long snapper.
Yeah, the long snapper goes down, and that adjusted things right away for them, right? Because you saw in that first attempt when the long snapper was out, Mr. Ajay. And again, this is a great point of discussion or argument as to whether or not this was a penalty against the Saskatchewan Roughriders or not. Luke and I in the booth saw and thought, watching the replays, that Devin Adams, who was flagged for hitting the center, directed himself towards the guard and then bounced off to the long snapper once his head was up. But yeah, you're right. That was a major one. And you look at the 6-game injured list for the Ottawa Redblacks, there's a lot of players.
Yeah.
Now, again, go ahead and talk to the Saskatchewan Roughriders about it in the 6-man injured list.
They're not going to feel bad.
But yeah, everybody has to overcome those injuries, and they're mounting right now for the Ottawa Redblacks.
Yeah, it certainly didn't help their case over the weekend, but yes, they do fall to 0-8. It's funny to think that it was only a couple of years ago that we would have been having this conversation about Edmonton.
Oh, for sure, right?
Now, they're just behind the Riders for top in the West.
Yeah, exactly. The Edmonton Elks, when they went into Montreal, I thought had an opportunity to make a statement because, let's face it, the Elks, the Riders, and the Alouettes are the top 3 teams in the league right now, statistically, in most categories. So the Elks had to run the gauntlet, right? 2 against Saskatchewan back-to-back, and then you go into Montreal. And they kind of got lit up a little bit, but again, they're still a very good team.
Yeah, and man, Montreal is a good team too. I'm really excited for that October back-to-back that the Saskatchewan Roughriders get to play against them, because I believe they start in Montreal and then they come here, if I'm not mistaken.
Thanksgiving in Montreal, and then later that week back here at Mosaic Stadium. And back to the Elks for just a quick second. You notice how nobody's really talking about Justin Rankin after these last 3 weeks? Because going into the first matchup against the Riders, right, he had been slowed down by BC. BC had the formula. And it was like, oh boy, can the Roughriders stop him? He's on pace for 1,000 receiving, 1,000 rushing. And where is that gone?
Yep.
Because you run into some better defenses, and they've been able to take that away. Cody Fajardo is still slinging it.
Oh, for sure.
And there's nothing wrong with Cody Fajardo on the offense. So they're happy to throw it. I'm just saying that Justin Rankin has been slowed. And how about the job of the Riders defense? They often talk about, let's shut down the run and then we'll stop the pass. And when you hold your opposition to 19 receiving yards like the Riders did on Friday night, you've done well.
Yep. You're doing okay. Well. You're doing okay. All right. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves here, I do just want to throw it back to Friday night at Mosaic Stadium post-game, because we do have some exclusive post-game interactions with head coach Corey Mace. And I thought that there were some really interesting comments here, including what we were just talking about there, the unnecessary roughness call on Ottawa's long snapper, and how he dissected that call by the refs.
So there's a rule in special teams with long snappers is that they got to be able to snap the ball and get their head up and be able to accept the block, essentially. They felt that our guy attacked him before he got his head up, which obviously, we were disputing. So ultimately that was the call, and they looked at it because it was a scoring play, because we ended up recovering it, and they called it a touchdown. So the replay booth said that they took an extra long look at it. And they just deemed that it was a penalty, man. So unfortunate, at the time we didn't see it as that. We'll look at the tape, and we got a coach to be better off of it if that wasn't up to standard, right? So that sucks, man. These guys work so hard to make a play like that. And then ultimately, too, I think the guy got injured as well. So that's also unfortunate. But we got to play it clean.
I'm interested to hear what Darian Durant has to say about that call. I wonder if he feels the same way.
I am full on player safety and erring on the side of caution. And again, Luke and I saw it, watched it numerous times. We kind of agreed to disagree with the officials on that one. But it also is a situation after the fact. The call was made on the field in real time, right? Every replay we saw was slow motion. So to overturn that is difficult. Again, I don't know if I agree with it or not. It's very unfortunate that the long snapper for the Ottawa Redblacks was injured on the play and had to leave the game with what looks like a substantial arm injury, as the Redblacks did sign another Canadian long snapper today. But again, very, very great, very good explanation from Coach Mace on what he saw and what they felt happened. So, and the other part that he alluded to is that, again, that was a specialized punt block that they put out there that Nick Weeb actually got to, and he got there quickly. So, been working on it in a while, and now it's on tape, so the opposition knows how to defend that, right?
Yeah, well, and right after the play took place and they went to the end zone, all of the Riders were under the impression that they had just scored, right?
Yeah.
So things happen game speed, very fast. So I appreciated head coach Corey Mace breaking that down for us. There was also a lot of conversation heading into this one because obviously you had Hamilton coming in to the Queen City, sitting at 0-7, taking on a very banged-up Saskatchewan Roughrider team, and I'll admit it, I was the first one to say it after that game against Edmonton. Trap game? A lot of people were using that term, wondering if that's what this was going to be heading in. And he actually talked about people using, the term trap game and the fact that he and the rest of the group refused to buy into that.
Like you said, in 2024, it was the same thing. We were 5-2 and an 0-7 Edmonton team came in with coaching changes and they beat the brakes off us here at home. We talked about that this week, and it's professional football, man. Those guys, I can't speak to what it is that, that can't get them in the win column, but they got championship pedigree on their coaching staff. They got players who've won championships. So you gotta respect that. We just got to focus on being the best version of us, and ultimately, we had some guys getting opportunities tonight that haven't gotten opportunities throughout the season. And they want to put their best foot forward because they know the expectation, because they know that we ain't lowering any damn bars around here. This is just our expectations as a team. So we were excited to get out there and prove to everybody that the Saskatchewan Roughriders are a football team. It's not necessarily about individuals.
Obviously, they battled through. They heard coach's message in the locker room, and the Riders come out with a win. So they're going to be getting ready now for the Hamilton Tiger Cats on the road this week. Who does Ottawa play next? Oh, Ottawa's rolling into Winnipeg.
Yes.
So that could be an interesting matchup this week.
Yes, it is, especially with Zach Collaros now back practicing with the number ones. You'd have to think that Collaros likely gets the start as, I don't want to say the Bombers are reeling, but I think they're kind of reeling a little bit.
You think so?
Especially after losing their last game going into the bye week against BC with Caden Salter at quarterback. I think that they're hurting a little over that one, especially with the amount of rushing yards they gave up. So, that's going to be an interesting one. I was really surprised. And again, I mentioned 19 yards for the Ottawa running attack. They only ran the ball 9 times. So they weren't out of it until the fourth quarter. So to completely get away from the run, I thought was interesting.
Very interesting. Well, they move onward and upward, but one more quote here from head coach Corey Mace, because, we addressed it right off the top. A bunch of different players are stepping up for the green and white here, and he was talking about the group as a whole and how they are doing just that, stepping up.
We're kind of young, either by age or guys who just experienced in the CFL. But we acknowledge that everybody's got some juice, man. So if we can keep everybody fresh, nobody's selfish, and that's the best part. We got no idea who's going to be the guy that's going to step up for the night. Hell, we was getting pressure, and then Liam ends up getting the sack strip, and Benoit recovers it, right? So selfless group, and everybody's capable of cooking. It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome, and I know it was a point that people were nervous about this year. Not so much we weren't.
Head coach Corey Mace speaking with us exclusively following that big 42-20 win over the Ottawa Redblacks on Friday night at Mosaic Stadium. One more quick one here that I want to get to because it was a pretty big game for one and only Trevor Harris. We knew going in that he was, 45 yards away from...
49, yeah.
49 yards away from...
Sorry, I'm just that guy.
I know.
When I have a stat in my mind, I'll be that guy.
But he was so close to being part of an exclusive club of quarterbacks in the CFL, hitting 40,000 passing yards. A major milestone, one that is not lost upon him. And he spoke to the media about that following the game.
Yeah, I'm not usually into the numbers thing, but when Mace kind of just did this after the game and said there's only been 12 to do it, it's for me to just brush it off would be, I think, would be rude. It's a big deal to Mace, and for him to do that was awesome. I'm truly just grateful. God is good. I'm thankful that Jesus has set me on the path that I've been on and all the ups and downs and ebbs and flows. And to be able to do that on a professional level is something that just blows my mind. But again, I just try and stay focused on the small things, and I'm really thankful that I get to be the quarterback of this organization. I never, ever take it for granted, and to be able to don the green and white and be here, you know the history of this organization better than anybody, and the fact that I get to be the quarterback here and you know who I am is cool to me. And so I'm really thankful that I get to do this, and to join the 40K club's pretty cool. I think it just means maybe I'm getting a little older, though.
I like how he instantly just says, oh, maybe it's just because I'm getting older. No, Trevor Harris, enjoy it. 40,000 yards is a very impressive accomplishment.
Only 12 other people have done it.
Mm-hmm.
Can I quickly allude to the Sportscage.com poll question?
Yeah.
So you've been commissioned to build a Mount Rushmore of Roughriders quarterbacks. If Ron Lancaster, Kent Austin, and Darian Durant are already included, who is the fourth quarterback that you put on Mount Rushmore?
Trevor Harris has to be part of the conversation.
Well, he's one of the options. Tom Burgess, Trevor Harris, Henry Burris, Joe Powpow. You could have made an argument for Kerry Joseph, too.
Yes, you certainly could. That is a hard one, but I think recency bias might be skewing the numbers just a little bit.
With Trevor Harris head and shoulders is leading the way right now. You can vote on that, of course. If you're watching on YouTube, you can vote in on the chat there. Go to sportscage.com, vote on the poll, or send us a text message today and let us know, because I honestly don't know what the answer is.
306-936-6262. Who should also be included on that Mount Rushmore? Are we missing anybody? Is there someone else that we should be including? Because you can always call us out on that too.
Absolutely.
I'm fine with that. So text us on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. I do also quickly want to mention here, Toronto Blue Jays back on the field tonight, taking on the Boston Red Sox in Boston. Day off in the WCBL as playoffs continue tomorrow with Game 1 between the Saskatoon Berries and the Moose Jaw Miller Express in the East Division Final. And those Miller Express players have just been so fun to watch. I don't know if you saw the video a little while back, but they were just standing on the field singing Wonderwall by Oasis.
I saw that, and they did the, on Country Night, they did the line dance too.
Mm-hmm. This is a ball team that is just having a blast. They're just having a good time hanging out, throwing some balls around, hitting it with a stick,
It's pretty easy to have fun when you're winning too.
Well, that doesn't hurt.
They're a pretty good team.
It doesn't hurt. I'm also a little biased because I'm from Moose Jaw, so yeah, I got to give them a shout out. That'll be a fun series to watch.
Road trip through Moose Jaw, anyone?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's going to be a good time. Best of 3 series. By the way, Moose Jaw Miller Express, also a record-breaking season for them. 39 wins in the regular season. Set a new franchise record for the most victories in a single regular season. So they got something special happening there out in Moose Jaw.
Well,
I was going to call it the Friendly City, but now it's the Notorious City.
Is it? I didn't know they had changed.
Yeah, a couple of years back. Everyone still calls it the Friendly City.
Because it used to be the Band City, and then it was the Friendly City, and now it's Notorious. Okay. It's interesting.
It's the Al Capone thing, right?
I get it.
They're leaning into, the roaring 20s, and they're having some fun with it. Okay, before we go to break here, I do want to mention that you can also text in your pick for Pick the Score. This is an opportunity for you to win tickets to the next Rider home game. $200 for SaskTel. We do this every single game. Okay, so just send us your name and your score prediction. What do you think it's going to be? Saskatchewan in Hamilton. What do you think? 306-936-6262. It's this Saturday, kickoff at 5 o'clock. You text us your guess. You're automatically entered to win. Monday edition of the Sports Cage is brought to you by Sask Today, the voices of Saskatchewan. Visit Sask Today, Saskatchewan's leading online news, ag, and sports portal. Think of it as a newspaper. without all the ink on your hands. Coming up next, we do have Pat Barry joining us. He is the Saskatoon Valkyries head coach. Also was the head coach of Team Saskatchewan in the Senior Women's Football National Championship, where they won gold over the weekend. So more on that still to come. This is the Sports Cage on the home of local sports, 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
The original 620 CKRM Country Cookouts are back for the harvest season. As you and the crew take a break from taking crop off the field, we'll fill you up with a delicious meal from Nikki's Cafe and Catering. We'll also bring you prizes and live entertainment. Keep it on CKRM for the dinner bell cue to call, and you could be one of our lucky 8 Fall Country Cookout winners. 620 CKRM's Country Cookouts for
Young's Equipment, Prairie 6-inch Eaves Trough, Zipperlock Building Company and Power Lift Doors, and Nikki's Cafe and Catering.
Great coaches make great calls. And at home, you're in control of the game. Add SaskTel TV to your lineup and enjoy popular channels, including sports in stunning 4K for as low as $40 a month. So, what do you say, Coach? Ready to add in the difference maker? Visit SaskTel.com/make-the-call to learn more. Conditions apply.
Hello?
Wanna play a game?
Not really. I'm trying to get...
What goes up, but not down?
My garage door. I'm late for work and waiting for the repair guy.
You can manually open it if you pull the...
Yeah, I know, but I need it fixed, and I'm not gonna get out of my car and pull the rope 8 times a day.
Call Busy Bee Doors. They can fix or replace any commercial or garage door.
I was just excited I found someone who still has a landline.
Oh my God.
Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
Winter in Saskatchewan tests everything, our patience, vehicles, and sometimes our bumpers. From icy parking lot dings to serious highway mishaps, choosing local matters. At Regina Motor Products Collision Center, we're Saskatchewan-owned, run, and we drive these roads too. An SGI-accredited full-service collision center working on all makes and models. Submit your SGI claim and book your appraisal. It's easy. When you need repairs you can trust, it's neighbors helping neighbors. Regina Motor Products Collision Center, south at Highways 1 and 6 Albert Street, rmpchevrolet.com.
Welcome back to Sportscage. Get social with us. Follow us on X at Sportscage. Watch our video stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back. Monday edition of the Sports Cage with Tegan Whitco, Dave Thomas, Curtis Gammon is with us, keeping us on the air. Of course, at 620 CKRM on the stream as well, which you can find at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and X. Got a very interesting point here on the text line, too. Prairie Land Rentals text line at 306-936-6262. You and I were just talking about this off air, Dave. Andrew says Eugene Lewis was let go and no one has picked him up yet. Maybe not great in the locker room. Something's up. Very interesting point. Because it is, with how good he is, I understand contractually he's very expensive for teams to just go out there and pick up. But maybe there is more to this story that we don't know.
All I will say is that if you could go back in time, like you can at sportscage.com and find our podcast, after Eugene
Shameless
Lewis...
plug.
I know. After Eugene Lewis sat out a game and the Ottawa offense really seemed to get going, and that was the game they went to overtime and should have won, but something seemed to be clicking more without him there. And I'm not saying that Eugene Lewis is not a good receiver because he's a fantastic receiver. I'm just saying something seemed to not be meshing with chemistry. So when you've got a receiver of that caliber, you got to get him the ball. And if he's not getting the ball, that's tough. I'll elaborate more later.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's a whole thing that we need to unpack a little bit later on, but curious to hear what other people's thoughts are. Again, Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. Still to come today, the Riders Coaches Show. Jordan Lennon is going to be joining us, Riders defensive backs coach. Darian Durant shortly after 5 o'clock. Your last Red Sox report of the season, as well as interim manager Braydon Cobb will be joining us to wrap up this WCBL season for the Regina Red Sox. Of course, Mondays are for Sask today, but right now we're going to head out on the Western Pizza guest hotline and welcome in the Saskatoon Valkyries head coach and head coach of Team Saskatchewan this past weekend up in Saskatoon, the one and only Pat Barry. Appreciate you taking the time, Pat. Congratulations on winning gold this weekend.
Thank you very much.
And what a weekend it was. I mean, geez, you guys were up there for the Women's Senior National Championship, and you had a conglomeration of all these incredible female football athletes. You win 24-3 over Quebec. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you reflect on the tournament and everything this group accomplished?
Well, I've mentioned it to a few people. It was pretty exciting. Like I know it's been reported pretty widely that this tournament hasn't happened in 10 years. It was hosted in Regina back in 2016. And then that little thing called the pandemic really affected the last time they were trying to have this. So it's been quite a while. So this is, it's just been something that a lot of these athletes been waiting for quite a while, and not just from Saskatchewan, but all across the country. So we're pretty pleased like that, here in Saskatchewan, we were able to host it again.
Pat, can you tell me about bringing this group of athletes together? You did it in a short period of time, but a long period of time at the same time. Talk about that cohesiveness that you built in the chemistry.
Well, it's a tricky thing. I know there's a lot of different ways to put together a provincial team. We had a tryout camp in Martinsville in April. Just a couple sessions over the Sunday, and then we, throughout the WWCFL season, we, as a coaching staff, we were evaluating athletes throughout, the two senior teams in the province, and trying to figure out who would be the best for the 40-person roster, and that was sort of basically the process. And then, of course, over the past 8 or 9 days. Had to come together and put together a full tackle football team and try and win a national championship, which is really a credit to our staff, our coaching staff, our team staff, and most importantly, our players. It's really remarkable what they achieved.
You had Valkyries players on the team. You had Riot players on the team, and these provincial teams are always so intriguing to me because you spend so much time battling against each other, and then you all come together to represent Saskatchewan in unison. What was it kind of like watching those rivalries disappear once everybody put on the same jersey?
Well, it's really special. I've been fortunate enough to be a part of that before. Having really the privilege of Football Saskatchewan allowing me to be a part of these teams in the past. Whether it was with the Indigenous team many years ago, U18 teams, and with women's team Sask in the past, it's a privilege to represent our province, and that's something that we try to instill in our athletes as much as possible, and really that comes from Football Saskatchewan, the way they do things. That like we do compete against each other pretty hard, but when we come together and we represent, all of the communities of our province, it's a special thing. And that was clearly our message. And really, that's something that Football Saskatchewan does a great job of instilling that in all of our elite teams.
Preparation is such a huge part of football. How did you get your athletes prepared to play, whether it was in tournament or prior to the tournament?
Well, it's pretty tricky because you have a lot that you want to do. Fortunately for us, this group of athletes have an extremely high football IQ, and it's something that we identified quickly. I know all of our coordinators, Wyatt Carlton on defense, Marcy Halseth on offense, and Claire Dory on special teams, they were able to install an incredible amount of plays, material, special situations in really a short period of time. And that's a credit to them. But again, I'm going to say it's mainly a credit to the athletes. Their ability to adapt, to stay focused and get ready to go is quite extraordinary. And I know I've said that word a few times, but I'm very proud of them.
Maybe you can specifically point out some of those players. I know that I saw, some posts on social media coming off of that game with, your offensive, defensive game stars, but who were really the ones that stood out to you, that showed up to play, even though we might not necessarily see them all over the stat sheet?
Well, I mean, we have, really a lot of the players on our offensive line. Like, the offensive line is oftentimes very unsung. And our offensive line coach, Ethan Pazlowski, who I admire a lot, and I'm very pleased he was able to coach our team. He had a group that was very tight knit, and they worked extremely well together. We had one of our athletes, Talene Blakely. She had I guess I can say it now. She had a bit of a knee injury that was really concerning for us. We had training camp in Mosaic Stadium last weekend when the Riders were in Edmonton. So that was fortunate for us to be able to have our training camp in Regina and then compete in Saskatoon. And it's just a credit to her with how hard she worked to get back healthy and ready to go. Elisa Funk, our left tackle, is someone who was one of only two players who was active the last time we played this game. And she was a steadying force on our offensive line as well. So I guess really for players who don't get talked about very much, offensive line is one place that I would definitely like to mention.
Can you talk about the blueprint or the model that Football Sask has put down when it comes to women's football, in the fact that you're recruiting, you're retaining, and you're developing high caliber, high performance athletes?
Well, I think the key is that, right from the beginning, I think the Regina Riot, from what I've seen from afar, and I know for a fact with the Saskatoon Valkyries, we treat our athletes like elite athletes, and because they are. And that's probably the key for having an elite program is you want to make sure that the way that you do business is always top notch. And I think that's the key thing. You never want your athletes on any team, whether it's senior athletes like this or little kids playing sports. You never want them to feel less than. And I think that's the most important thing. How do you make people feel is a really important thing in sports. And I believe very strongly in that.
And obviously that's reciprocated by, a lot of the athletes. I think of a player like, Emma Ray Dale, who's been so heavily involved with Football Sask, and the fact that she's, sticking with it and getting more and more involved as time goes on. What does someone like her and her presence, mean for not only the growth, but the identity of women's football in the province?
Well, I mean, yeah, she's pretty special. There's no doubt about that. And I, of course, as if people don't know, it's, as you're alluding to it, Tegan, like Emma Ray works for Football Saskatchewan, high performance director for women's football in the province of Saskatchewan, along with Amy Kowalski in Regina. So they are, who, by the way, was our quarterbacks coach this past weekend too. So we're pretty fortunate. These are some high level elite athletes, and Emma Ray had a pretty good game the other day too. I've never seen anything like that. Wow, you don't see interception returns like that very often. Wow.
Well, one was, by my count, about 112 yards, if I'm not mistaken, on her one pick six. So, at all, did you have any concern she was going to run out of gas? Because that's a lot of ground she covered in coverage, not to mention going down the length of the field.
Well, I can tell this story now too. It was a little bit. Because just earlier in the game, for people who didn't hear, I think it was a 71-yard interception return for a touchdown. So yeah, she has about 184 yards in interception returns for both of them for touchdowns in one game. So, but yeah, after the second one, Wyatt Carlton, our defensive coordinator, she has helmets comms in, but we were going to try and give her a break because defense is on the field right away, and then we're like, but we got to get it out. We got to get into another helmet. We got to be able to talk to whoever that person is. And we were just all scrambling. And Emma Ray's, no, I'm good. We're fine. So, but yeah, we were trying to give her a break, but she didn't want one.
Oh, wow.
What else stood out on your team when it came to the defense?
Oh, well, we just had some great performances. I think about Haley Girolami also had 2 interceptions. Kaylin Howie from Regina is an exceptional defensive back. I'm very, very pleased with how she played. And Emery Holbgawaks, who's from Saskatoon, originally from Mooseman, is just a relentless player on our defensive line. It's just, we just had lots of great performances. And it was, Quebec's a very good football team. They were threatening in our in the red zone against us numerous times. And I know a number of their players. I was fortunate enough to coach on Team Canada, and their quarterback, Maud Lacasse, was Team Canada's quarterback, and she's a very good quarterback. So it was a challenging day for our defense, and they definitely rose to the occasion, that's for sure.
Anytime you perform in a national event, not only do you get to gauge where your program is at, you also understand where the rest of the country is at. Where's the strength, or what is the strength and the building blocks of female football in our country right now?
Well, I mean, we'd like to think that we play a pretty big role of that with that here in Saskatchewan. There's no doubt about that. And then obviously Quebec is a team that, like I was just mentioning, they were in the gold medal game against us, and again, they have some exceptional athletes, and it was good to see some of those ladies again. You know, when I hear a little bit about the U18 championship, which is really an annual event now that Football Canada puts on, you know, some of the teams, Team Ontario won the whole thing, and they looked like they were really tough to beat. Look forward to the day that they put in the 12-a-side senior women's team as well, with the most populous province in our country. They probably should be there, and I can't wait for them to compete. I think that would be an excellent thing for women's football in Canada, and in preparation for the next World Championship.
How about the volunteer hours put in for not only organizing a national event, but you talk about the coaches that you have, and that's just a labor of love, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's, you know, you get a free t-shirt and that kind of thing. Like it's pretty special. That's a pretty sweet deal, but, no, it's a lot of fun. I mean, like, we all are very passionate about coaching. I know you talk about organizing it. You know, I've mentioned Football Saskatchewan a lot, and they put in a lot of time for that. Michelle Duchesne, who you guys, I know you've had her on here before. She won't like me saying it, but yeah, she was sort of one of the main factors in the organizing committee, and she did a lot of work for the tournament. So that's pretty cool. But it was a great committee, and they did so much work, and we had you know, be able to celebrate a little bit at the Hilltop clubhouse there, just with all the teams, and they put on a little bit of a social at the end of the tournament too, which is always a lot of fun.
A social? Have you spent time in Manitoba? I think that's a Manitoban term.
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
No, but I did want to ask how special that would have been. I know that there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that gets poured into hosting, you know, one of these events, but especially being able to host it and then win it in front of your home crowd, that had to be extra special. Can you put that into words, Pat?
Yeah, I'll try. Yeah, it was pretty special. You know, you do a lot of work, and when you're in these national tournaments, and they are, every one of them that you're in are, again, because you're representing our province, you know, like this is, like I was saying to the team, you know, if you're part of Team Saskatchewan, it's because you're from here, or the people that you love are here, you know, like that's it, you know. So to be here, and people in the stands are people that care about us, and that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. So that's, I think that's just, it makes it even more special to have an opportunity like that, to be here in Saskatchewan. You know, pretty important place for football in Canada.
So what's the next step for the group? Does everyone just go their separate ways? Do you remain in contact? How does that work?
Well, I think they're already starting to get in contact. I think, yeah, it's a cool opportunity. Again, pretty young, both of the teams. Like I said, there was only 2 players who were on the 2016 team. I know I coached on it as position coach, and some of our coaches were players on it, but Ashley Clayton from the Regina Riot and Elisa Funk from the Valkyries were the only 2 who were repeat players. So it was pretty brand new for the vast majority of our roster. And we were trying to tell them, you know, it's a kind of a cool thing that happens. You know, people that you're really kind of glaring at most of the time or not real happy with, all of a sudden you realize, hey, they're pretty great teammates, you know. So that's one of the coolest things that happens with with these provincial teams. There's no doubt about that.
So I'll pencil this down. The Regina Riot and Saskatoon Valkyries are planning a social to begin next year. Right on. Perfect.
I'm not sure about that. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Pat Barry, of course, the head coach of the Saskatoon Valkyries, and helped coach all the way to a gold medal up in Saskatoon this weekend in the Senior Women's National Championship. Very cool. Congratulations yet again. Let's hope we don't have to wait another decade for the next one.
I hope not either. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate you taking the time. Pat Barry joining us, of course, on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Appreciate his time as always. Western Pizza, they got all the Greek favorites you love, all the Canadian favorites, and I will be the first to admit I did try the number 2, Dave. I know that you've been talking it up. The number 2 style pizza. Mm-hmm. Actually, Curtis Gammon, our technical producer here, he's running the show on the Sportscage today. The game in Edmonton, when the Riders were on the road in Edmonton, there was that delay, and I had mentioned on the air that I was distracted because he brought in pizza. I'm pretty sure he got a number 2. Think so. I'm pretty sure he did, and I tried it. I take back what I said about mushrooms on pizza. It wasn't that bad.
All I'm going to say.
It was actually really good pizza.
Do you understand how long that delay was, knowing that everybody back in the studio is chowing down on pizza while Luke and I are doing yeoman work at Commonwealth Stadium in the cold with the wind and the rain? It
wasn't even that cold.
I was on everybody else.
Chill out. Yeah, you guys are at a broadcast booth. You're fine.
We're fine.
Saskatchewan Roughrider 50/50 Foundation. Make sure you get your tickets, too, by the way. Plenty of exclusive getaways and experiences up for grabs. New early bird prize to be won every single game. Doesn't matter if it's home, if it's away. You can get in on this. You can also set yourself up so you don't have to I don't have to remind you every week. It just automatically happens. Riders5050.ca. Current early bird prize up for grabs this week. A Montreal getaway for 2. So this comes with return flights from Saskatchewan to Montreal, 4 nights at a 4-star W Montreal. So that's fancy hotel accommodations. That's right in the heart of downtown Montreal, which is absolutely stunning, by the way, if you've never been. It's a must-see place, especially if you go to Old Montreal, the cobblestone streets. Just don't wear high heels. Bad idea. Or I'm just clumsy.
I'll have to try to avoid that, Tegan. Thank you.
I'm just here to help you pack, you know?
Sure.
Yeah, $4,500 in cash if you don't want to take the trip to Montreal either. So that's a pretty wicked prize. Deadline Thursday at 10 p.m., but do it now so you don't forget. Riders5050.ca. We are going to take a quick break. And then we have your sports ticker coming up before we hit the top of the clock here. It's a Sports Cage, and it's on the home of Rider Nation, 620 CKRM, and streaming at sportscage.com.
Great coaches make great calls. And at home, you're in control of the game. Add SaskTel TV to your lineup and enjoy popular channels, including sports in stunning 4K for as low as $40 a month. So, what do you say, Coach? Ready to add in the difference maker? Visit SaskTel.com/make-the-call to learn more. Conditions apply.
The Roughriders season is here, and the biggest 50-50 in Saskatchewan is back. Last year's 50-50 raised over $3.3 million for amateur football in Saskatchewan, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Rider Nation. This year, we have bigger loyalty and early bird prizes than ever before, not to mention those life-changing 50-50 jackpots. See all of the prizes and buy your tickets today at Riders5050.ca, and never miss a chance to win when you sign up for the 50-50 Club.
Riders 50/50 is presented by ISC.
Lottery license LR260010.
Why test for asbestos? Because before 1990, asbestos was commonly used in more than 3,000 building materials and other products. Because when asbestos fibers become airborne, they get into the lungs and cause severe damage over time. Because asbestos exposure is the #1 cause of work-related deaths in Saskatchewan. Built before 1990? Test for asbestos. Start at WorksafeSask.ca.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. Powered by Prairie Land Rentals. From power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need for your job. 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. It's time for the Sports Ticker. Brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. Rent a water heater and water softener starting at about $1.20 a day and get $400 when you switch to Reliance Heath.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders announced that they have signed national receiver Vaishon Janusis, 5'11", 229-pound. He was a fifth-round pick of Calgary in 2025. Played 12 games with the Stamps, recorded 4 catches for 26 yards. Before he went pro, he actually starred at the University of Guelph. He had 66 catches for 928 yards, 8 touchdowns over his last 2 seasons. He was named the Griffins MVP in 2024 after posting 37 catches and 546 yards, along with 3 touchdowns. Major League Baseball action tonight. We're just a little over an hour away from the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Red Sox in Boston. It is a day off in the WCBL as playoffs continue here. So in this division, we're going to have a battle of the juggernauts here. Saskatoon Berries taking on the Moose Jaw Miller Express in that East Division final. It's going to be a fun, entertaining series to watch. It is a best of 3, so blink and you might miss it. Head to Moose Jaw to take in a game if you can. Sportscage.com poll: if you have been commissioned to built a Mount Rushmore of Saskatchewan Roughrider quarterbacks, and Ron Lancaster, Kent Austin, Darian Durant, they're already included. Who is number 4? Now, with recency bias, I think a lot of people are going with Trevor Harris. You can agree, you can disagree, you can let us know what you think. Go vote at sportscage.com. You can always text us as well, 306-936-6262. It's also worth mentioning in your sports ticker here, Team Canada lifting that Hlinka Gretzky Cup over the weekend. Maddox Schultz and Liam Pugh. Woo!
Underage players got their kudos. I thought it was interesting. Now, Craig Button is scheduled to come on this program later this week with Barney. I don't think I'm telling tales out of school. But Craig's take was that when it comes to the World Juniors this year, you invite and take Liam Pugh along for the ride. You don't go with Maddox Schultz.
Interesting.
Saying that there's too much depth at center and you don't want Maddox playing a wing.
Oh, what a terrible problem to have.
That's an interesting take. And if you missed at least 3 times every game it was mentioned, yeah, these players aren't eligible for the NHL draft until 2028. I was like, oh, fair.
I know sometimes we forget just how young they are because they look so mature on the ice.
Oh, I completely agree. Yeah.
They were both big performers. Maddox Schultz, definite playmaker in that tournament. I mean, Liam Pugh absolutely showed up. He was shining on the ice there, and they ended up beating the USA 8-1 in that gold medal game.
Liam Pugh was tied for the tournament lead in points.
Yeah, that's impressive. I'm excited for Regina Pats hockey to return so we can see these guys in action at the Brand Center. We've got to be only, a month out? A little over a month out now from the start of the WHL season, which is crazy to think.
And the renewal packages for season tickets I know are out and available, including that new perk that you get. You get food vouchers for every game.
I like it. I'm all about the mini donuts.
Hey, and they've got more food options this year, from what I understand. Ooh. That was kind of kept under wraps, but I understand it's happening. Just saying.
I'm ready for a good rink burger and a night at the Brant Center. So, by the way, your sports ticker, I should mention, was brought to you by Reliance Group of Companies. We should probably take a quick break.
How do we get off on these tangents?
I don't know.
What is going
Monday.
on here?
You know what? It was a busy weekend, so that's my excuse. Coach's Show going to be coming up after your news. Jordan Lennon, the Riders' defensive backs coach, is going to be joining us on the program. This is the home of Rider Nation on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
Have you seen the patio at Pump Jack's Cathedral?
Seen it? I've practically moved in.
Do they at least charge you rent?
Only if I stop ordering food.
I don't blame you. Great food, daily food and drink specials.
30 beers on tap, including local favorites.
And there's no better place to catch the game with friends.
So what are we waiting for?
I'm waiting for this conversation to be over. Let's go.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, Pump Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
Hee-haw! Join in all the fun at the 26th Annual Whitewood Chickachaz CCA Rodeo, August 14th and 15th. Don't miss wild cow milking, mutton busting, beer gardens, live entertainment featuring Shea Istache, plus a full canteen. Adults $15, kids 7 to 12 or 8, and 6 and under are free. Weekend passes are just $25. Join in all the fun at the 26th Annual Whitewood Chickachaz CCA Rodeo, August 14th and 15th.
Calling all Rider fans. The bonus deadline for the Rough Rider and Children's Hospital Foundation's lottery is next Friday. Win the Champions Edition bonus prize, a 2026 Cadillac Escalade and Rider season tickets, or choose $130,000 cash. Plus, there are over 1,000 more prizes, including your best chance to win $1 million. Don't miss out. Bonus deadline is next Friday. Play for Sask Kids. Get your tickets at riderschildrenslottery.ca. Lottery license LR260015. Please play responsibly.
We are 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station. Streaming online at 620CKRM.com.
News is brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. Call 781-2090.
It's 4 p.m. Good afternoon. Mostly cloudy and 20 degrees in Regina. I'm Will Mantic from the Sask Today newsroom with 620CKRM.com. A proposed property tax subclass for standalone parking lots in downtown Regina is not being recommended by area stakeholders. City consultations found the lots are not being redeveloped mainly because of construction costs and market conditions. There are 142 standalone surface parking lots in the city center, 95 intended for specific users such as customers, employees, or tenants. Some stakeholders have suggested incentives instead of a new tax. The city's report is expected before council on October 7th. Saskatchewan's housing market remained tight in July. Despite sales above historical levels, there was limited choice for buyers. The province recorded 1,653 residential sales, down 11% from last year. There were 2,453 new listings, but only 3,858 are active after conditional sales were removed. In Regina, 382 homes sold. The benchmark price was $349,800. That's 3% higher than last year. As wildfires rage on in British Columbia, thousands have been evacuated from Summerland and the surrounding area. On Friday, a state of emergency was declared by the province after a fast-moving fire blew into the region late that night. Summerland Mayor Doug Holmes says he hasn't returned to the community after the evacuation.
The focus is still on the fire is still burning, it's still out of control, so that all the efforts are putting to get that fire out of control before we can start thinking about letting people back. And the first people will go back will probably be, say, farmers who are worried about their livestock.
The fire exploded in size to more than 100 square kilometers by Saturday afternoon, and the BC Wildfire Service says it has grown to 136 on Sunday. Close to $1.7 million in charitable gaming grants were provided by Lotteries and Gaming Saskatchewan during the first quarter of 2026-27. These grants will help around 1,000 groups in roughly 216 communities across the province, including Prince Albert, Weyburn, Humboldt, Estevan, and Swift Current. Someone in Saskatchewan just got a whole lot richer. $44 million richer to be exact after winning the Lotto 649 Gold Ball draw on Saturday. The winning ticket was purchased somewhere in the province, but not in Saskatoon or Regina. The winning ticket is 232-02513-03. The ticket must be matched exactly, and the winner has 1 year to claim their prize. That's 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620CKRM.com.
Looking for a new career with a growing local company? Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling in Emerald Park are now hiring. They're currently in need of plumbers and sheet metal workers, from apprentices to journeymen. Competitive wages, plenty of work, family-style work environment. If you're ready for a new challenge, bring your resume to 2 Percival Drive in Emerald Park or call 781-2090. That's 781-2090.
Weather for Next Gen Coatings. Spray coatings for truck bed liners, rocker panels, and more. Same company, new name. 1865 McCarra Street, Regina. Partly sunny today and a high of 23. Tonight, we're going to see a little more cloud roll in and drop to 10 degrees. For tomorrow, partly sunny, isolated showers, and a high of 22 for Wednesday. Mix of sun and cloud. Maybe some spotty showers, possibly a thunderstorm, and a high of 20 degrees. Partly sunny on Thursday and a high of 21 and 18 with showers likely on Friday.
For over 40 years, you've known them as Regina
Regina's trusted vehicle protection specialists. Now they're introducing the next gen of coatings. New name, new level of protection. They're now Next Gen Coatings. 3 generations of their family have served your family, and that hasn't changed. Same owners, same commitment, ready for the next gen of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards. The company hasn't changed, just the name. Next Gen Coatings. 1865 McCarra Street. The next gen starts now.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
The Monday installment of the Sports Cage is brought to you by Sask Today, the voices of Saskatchewan. Your provincial leading online news, egg, and sports portal. Check it out, sasktoday.ca. Still to come this afternoon. Of course, Darian Durant is going to be joining us shortly after 5 o'clock. We're going to talk about all things Saskatchewan Roughriders and the CFL in general. The Regina Red Sox season unfortunately came to a close yesterday up in Saskatoon with a loss to the Berries. So Braydon Cobb, the interim manager of the Regina Red Sox, is going to join us to wrap up the season in our Regina Red Sox report. We do also still have your Riders Coaches show coming up here in just a little bit. So we're going to get the Riders DB coach all linked up here on the Western Pizza Guest hotline. So Jordan Lennon is going to be joining us. And I think we might be talking a little bit of Jonathan Edouard. That might come up after that big interception this weekend.
That was some kind of play. If you watch it, he was backpedaling, had to plant the foot and then go out 2 steps full extension and then stay in bounds. So who says defensive backs can't catch?
Yeah, well, Edouard certainly can. That's actually one of the candidates for our play of the game. I guess play of the week? Riders play of the week? Is that what we're calling
Riders play of the game.
Play of the game.
Play from the game, of the game.
Play of the game.
Sure.
This is something new we're doing. So we're still ironing out the kinks, okay? That is one of them.
Yep.
The other one, Dylan Jeté, getting his first ever CFL touchdown, only his second game dressing for the green and white, and it was his home debut, and you score a touchdown?
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty cool. The one thing I wish I would have asked him, where he's going to put that game ball. He's got to find a spot for it.
He is giving it to his mother, I believe it is, or the family. It's staying within the family.
Okay.
I had to ask him when I ran into him after the game.
Yeah. That was one thing that I really should have asked him post-game, but he was just so pumped.
Oh, why wouldn't you?
And you really wanted to jump, if you're watching the stream, which you can do, by the way, at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and X, he thought about jumping up into the crowd and then I think realized just how high it is in the north end zone, so he backed off.
Yeah,
I don't blame him.
That wall is deceivingly high, and there is the LED display in front of the wall, so you lose about 18 inches or so, right? So you've got to not go straight vertical on that.
I'm just saying, he is a professional athlete. I'm sure he could have done it, but I think he just realized, ooh, that's not worth the risk.
Yeah.
Let's back off of that.
Yeah. But again, I'm still intrigued by the handshake from Trevor Harris, like, welcome to the CFL, young man, and then the Keyshawn Johnson maneuver to get him the game, or get him that ball.
Yeah,
so
that was
those are very cool.
Pretty cool. And then Yoshi bear hugging him. We love that. So those are 2 out of 3 options that you can pick from here. The third and final one, Stone Cold Tommy Stevens. I mean, how do we not include this one? Second consecutive game where he gets a hat trick, 3 touchdowns. Now this one in the fourth quarter with a minute 20 left on the clock here, and he manages to take it into the end zone yet again. I mean, just absolute consistency from Stone Cold, and we love to see him play every single week. So that is your third and final choice.
And that was gigantic by the right side of that offensive line. Like, my goodness, they just absolutely went and buried Ottawa on that play. It was, I know Luke Mullender was loving it. He's like, that's how you play offensive line. So I'm like, there you go. From a D lineman, he knows.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Him and head coach Corey Mace, they were kind of geeking out over the D-line post-game.
They had a nice conversation there.
Yeah, no, they were having a good time. You can always go back and rewatch all of that, by the way, if you just head to sportscage.com or go anywhere that you find your wonderful podcasts. We'll be on there, sportscage.com. And if you do want to vote on what you thought was the biggest play of the game, you just go to our website as well. It's live. It's posted right now. Top story, sportscage.com. And then you can pick between these 3 different plays: Jonathan Edouard, Dylan Jeté, or Tommy Stevens. Who is earning the play of the game rights here?
May I, for just a quick moment, before Coach gets here, just talk about Eugene Lewis for just a second and clarify maybe something that Andrew weighed in on the text line at 306-936-6262, mentioning that Eugene Lewis hadn't been signed by any CFL team yet, right? It's been over a week since he was released by Ottawa. And by no means am I saying anything about a lack of talent, about anything with chemistry. Just sometimes the fit isn't right. And when you have a guy like Eugene Lewis, you got to use him, right? And with offensive line breakdowns and whatever else is going on in the scheme of the Ottawa Redblacks, they just couldn't get him the ball. And that's nobody's fault but the system that he's playing in. You know what I mean? So I don't want to come off as critical of Eugene Lewis and the player he is. He is a phenomenal athlete. He will make people better around him. But he just wasn't a fit in Ottawa. And so to Andrew's comment, is it something to do with chemistry and the fact that he hasn't been signed yet? I would submit, well, no, I don't think that's it. But where would chemistry work? Where would the fit be? You look at the BC receiving core, they're very happy with, you go with Justin McInnes, you've got Mr. Hardy there, right? So Justin Hardy and McInnes, you got them there. They've got a very solid receiving core that they're happy with. In Edmonton, we all know what happened with Ed Hervey first time around. And I don't want to say never, but it's probably never going to happen where the two are in the same organization together. Calgary, extremely happy with a deep receiver room. Saskatchewan Roughriders, again, you've got Johnny Johnson III, who's making a statement on offense, but also look what he's doing on the return game.
Yeah.
Other side is Keyshawn Johnson, right? And of course, it comes down to an American passport for Eugene Lewis. In Winnipeg.
And money.
Yeah. Winnipeg, seemingly very happy with the receiving core that they have. They just didn't have a lot, or felt that they didn't have a lot to get him the ball outside of Drew Brown and or Zach Collaros. So you go to Winnipeg, then you move over to Hamilton. Kenny Lawler is going to demand the ball, right? Like, you got to feed Kenny the ball. And again, they're having similar quarterback issues with the injury to Bo Levi Mitchell. Toronto, maybe there's a question mark there, right? Like, again, you look at some of the receivers Toronto has, it's a deep receiver room. They love Coxie, and why wouldn't you? So that's just the tip of the iceberg. Kevin Mittal is a terrific receiver as well. So you got to find where you're going to put him in.
What about Calgary?
Calgary's deep. I don't think Calgary touches it, especially with the opportunity or potential for Reggie Begelton to come off the injured list. Now, again, it was a significant injury that he suffered last year. And yes, he's been working back, and we don't have an indication of when a return is likely, but he's starting to ramp up, which is a good sign. So where is the fit? Montreal, who are you going to take out? Everybody's catching the ball there, right?
Well, what are the odds that we see Eugene Lewis stay on the couch for the rest of the season?
Well, it's a possibility, right? But needs can change week over week in the CFL when you're talking injuries, right? So again, I'm not condemning the athlete at all or saying there's anything that I have any insight with it or that I've heard about chemistry in the locker room or anything.
You know something.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it just might be a victim of circumstance right now.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued to see how this shakes out. I mean, a lot of changes are taking place in Ottawa because they kind of have to, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. As long as Eugene Lewis lands somewhere where they believe superstars exist in the CFL. I had to. Come on. You brought up Hervey earlier.
Golf clap on that one.
Join in the conversation. What do you think about Eugene Lewis? Where's he going to land? Prairie Land Rentals text line. Prairie Land Rentals, from small power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need. Deal with the owner at 600 Albert Street. Again, the number is 306-936-6262. But I got the thumbs up from my guy, Curtis. So I think it's time that we head out on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline for the Riders Coaches Show.
It's time for the Sportscage Riders Coaches Show. For Steelcraft Doors, made in Western Canada for Western Canada. Locations in Regina, Saskatoon, and Prince Albert, and servicing all of Saskatchewan.
Pleased to be joined on the line now with the Saskatchewan Roughriders defensive backs coach, Jordan Linnen. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations on the win this weekend, Jordan.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, let's dive into it. We got to start with that game against Ottawa on Friday at home. What did you like most about the way that your group performed?
I think we just continue to show that, we're a group more so even on the back end, or as a team in general, we're kind of growing. And that's all you can ask for, man. And given the rash of injuries we've had and some of the other adversity we've faced so far this season, it's been good to see the guys grow and train through and kind of learn on the fly. So lots of good reps, lots of learning opportunities, and some growth across the board on defense.
The number of different combinations in your backfield has been incredible. How have you kept that group together and growing, I would suggest?
I think it's just a testament to the culture we have here. I think, overall, Coach Mace, J.O., all of our personnel staff do a great job of getting guys that fit the culture. And then I think collectively, to a man or to a unit or to a room, all of our coaches do a good job of preparing everyone to be the next man up. I know, it's an age-old cliche in football, but I think in our building, in the time that we've been here over the last few years, it's shown true every time we've had to plug and play guys. And right now, unfortunately in our specific room, there's a lot of change, a lot of, like you said, different combinations that have happened. But I think we've been able to kind of just train through and more importantly, the guys have bought into being prepared just because they don't know when your number's going to be called. And our guys have, some guys have had lots of time to prepare. Some guys have had a day to prepare, and they've been able to do, well in both circumstances. So, we're grateful for the guys in the room and the ability to, be able to learn and be sponges from even just learning through the other guys if you're not getting valuable reps.
So the Riders win at home 42-20, but at halftime, the score was not that lopsided. I'm just curious, what was that conversation kind of like? A peek behind the curtain maybe, and what adjustments you guys made in that second half?
I think it was just the same thing. Coach Mace has always been very even keel in those situations, but, for us, it's about playing our game. It was for us and our guys to consistently show up and do what they've been trained to do, what they've been doing in practice week in and week out, day in and day out. And that was just, play our brand of football, make sure we're executing our job responsibilities at a high level, and then showing up for each other. We don't really worry about the opposition, whether it's Ottawa or another opponent. It's can we show up and play effectively, play efficiently, and execute our assignments to the best of our ability. And I think that's where at halftime for us, it was, hey, this game is close, but it doesn't need to be. So, rather than kind of touching the gas, let's put the gas pedal all the way down and see what the results, will be in the second half. And I think it showed true. There was a lot more execution in the second half. There was a lot more correcting things on the fly, or even when plays were going well, what can we do better to make that, play an explosion or limit an explosion on defense. So I think more than anything, the conversation was, hey, play better, but also execute at a higher level. If you play football to the standard that we expect you to, the score won't be close, right? We don't ever really worry about the score, but in those situations, it was just up in the execution.
Coach, I definitely don't want to put words in your mouth, but I do want to suggest that you have a group of leaders in that defensive backs room, is that each one seems to be able to deliver messages to the other. And I'm not talking negative messages. I'm talking about in-game communication even as a whole. It wasn't that long ago he gave up 500 passing yards to the Edmonton Elks, but Marcus Sales said, you know what? We know what we did wrong. Like, we're not going to panic here. We just have to communicate better. So is that where the leadership in that room comes in?
Yeah, absolutely. I think those guys, we always joke, me and Coach Bell always talk about the room specifically, and we always say these guys coach themselves. Now, obviously, we have a job to do and a role and responsibility to, guide these guys and give them the tools to be successful on the field. But a lot of the leadership, a lot of the communication, a lot of the corrections, a lot of the, efficiencies when we do have successful games come from the players, right? Like, we don't cross the line. No matter how good the scheme is, they have to cross that white line and play the game. So, when those things happen, there's a lot of self-reflection, there's a lot of soul searching, and that's even for us as coaches. You don't ever want to give up 500 yards in any circumstance. But at the end of the day, once we get those corrections made, it's about the players saying, hey, what can I do differently to help this unit? What can I do better to help this unit? And, with great leadership, with guys like Roland Milligan, with guys like Marcus Sales, with guys like Tavon Campbell, and even some of the young guys, man, the young guys have fallen in line too. The rookies that are on this team, they understand that there's, things that they can do from a quiet leadership standpoint, or even just showing up in practice and giving us good looks. Like, the leadership is a trickle down effect, but I think more than anything, when you have guys in the room that are leading from the front and showing these guys by example, it's very easy for those guys to fall in line and kind of want to do the same thing. So, again, I commend those guys, because we were all kind of sitting here after that game being like, wow, are we who they think we are, or who we think we are? And I think that the results were the latter, but, again, it's coming down to those guys going out there and executing at a high level. And I think they're starting to do that.
So, Coach, for the fans who are watching from the stands and, they don't see this day in and day out, what's something that the DBs did really well on Saturday that might not necessarily show up on the stat sheet, but that you pulled away from it?
Again, I think it comes back to the communication. Anyone that doesn't really understand the position or maybe necessarily what goes into playing defense, I would always just implore them to watch the sideline during the game. You can always tell how a unit or how a group is kind of reacting and responding to adversity or even big plays or good plays that we're making by how they are on the sideline. Our guys come off the field, they're right over to the iPad, they're communicating with myself, they're communicating with Coach Bell, they're communicating with the linebackers, they're communicating with the D-line. That interaction is something as a coach that you can look at the group and say, hey, we have the potential to be a really, really special group at the end of the season when it matters most. If we can start to continue to consistently, train through and really be efficient in the things that we do. So I think, more than anything, it's communication. And I think that there's no panic. I don't think in any situation, even games that we've been down or games like Dave said, where we're giving up 500 yards, there was no panic. It was probably more frustration in those moments of not playing our game or our brand of football and not executing at a high enough level. And I think that's, the things that are starting to turn a corner for us as a group is the communication is consistent. A lot of the time now, these guys are communicating corrections before we even get a chance to talk to them on the sideline in between drives. So I would say communication is definitely the biggest thing right now.
Sometimes I get the opportunity to talk with executives from other teams prior to games. And one of the things that they often point out is the way that the coaching staff with the Saskatchewan Roughriders is able to relate to their players, because you've been there, you've done that. And if you follow the football career of Jordan Lennon, it's a battle of perseverance, both north and south of the border. And you've talked about the things that you went through from, again, Manitoba to south of the border to back to BC and all the things that you went through. And the parallel I'm drawing is Jonathan Edouard. And if you missed behind the face mask during the game, the guy was politely asked to leave the country while he was in university over at Carleton. But the guy's sitting on the couch. You understand, you spotted the talent, you brought him in, and he starts for you in a couple of games this season. Can you tell me about Jonathan Edouard and his perseverance that maybe is a path like yours?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a fan of John Doe or Jonathan, and, I've always kind of, drawn parallels, I guess you could say. But I think the biggest thing with John Doe and something that, I always have had such adoration for is that, he's never taken no for an answer. Even coming in the building, he knew he was going to be in a limited role or, potentially would start off in a limited role and then was thrust into a starting role. So, the things that have happened to him along his career probably in certain regards are, unconventional, or maybe he has had to take a longer, harder path. But I think when you see how he prepares, when you see his willingness to just be a guy in the room and be a sponge for the veteran leaders like, the Marcus Sales of the world or the Roland Milligans, you understand why he's able to play at a high level. And it's him willing to learn. He didn't come in with an ego saying, well, I've played this many games, I've had success, I've won a Grey Cup in Toronto or whatever. It was, hey, what do you need me to do? Where can I fit in? What role do you need me to embrace so that I can help this team be successful and hopefully win another championship? And, obviously, again, his process or his, path with us in the short time he's been with us has been expedited. But at the end of the day, he's still in that mental, space where he's like, hey, what can I do better? What do I need to do more? He's still taking notes. He's still asking questions. He's communicating with the safeties. Like, hey, how do you want to play this? How do you see this? So that he's on the same page because he didn't get a training camp with us, right? So, the one thing I would credit him with is he comes to work every day and he's prepared to continue to ask the right questions and get the understanding to a point where he's now starting to play at a higher level and things are slowing down for him and you're seeing him start to make more and more plays. What he does on special teams is obviously well documented as well, but, we want to see him continue to embrace his role on defense and hopefully to continue to grow in that role as well.
So Edouard gets the secondary's first interception of the season. That was pretty fun to watch. What did you see?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we've been sitting here. I'd be lying to you guys if I told you that we haven't been sitting here trying to get rid of the elephant in the room. With John Doe going and getting the first one, it was funny. I think Coach Bell had said something prior to the game or the day before in the walkthrough that, hey, I wouldn't be surprised if John Doe's the first one to get one. So, to see it all come to fruition was amazing. Again, a testament to those guys' hard work. It's not for lack of trying. I think we've, done everything we can in terms of practice and repetition and communication and mental reps of, hey, let's just find a way to get the ball. But ultimately John Doe was the first one to get one. And now we're hoping that opens the floodgates and we get them in bunches. And again, we got a bunch of guys that can make plays on the ball and they've shown that throughout their careers and throughout their time with us. But we just needed to get that elephant out the room and hopefully the elephant is long gone now and we can continue to get those in bunches as we move forward.
One of the guys that's in your room, Coach Jordan Lynn, is Nelson Lacombo. And it's intriguing to me, having followed him through his days at the U of S, where he never played safety at all, learned safety at the professional level, now has played halfback and corner, starting at corner last game. Coach Mace says he could be one of the best corners in the league. What do you see in Nelson Lacombo and his versatility?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think more than anything, his superpower, or like the calling card that he has, is he's versatile. He's willing to play anywhere. Literally, if we asked him to play linebacker, he'd probably do that too. I don't know if that's, necessarily his skill set, but he would do it because he's a team first guy. And also too, athletically, like, he has so much potential that I think, and much like everyone else, Coach Mace alluded to, like, could be a potentially really, really dominant corner in this league if that was where he spent his time and put all his, time and development into. But I think he's good at multiple positions, so I don't know that we'll be able to promise that Nelly will only play one spot. But if he's a field corner, he's going to be a hell of a field corner. If he's a safety, he's going to be a hell of a safety. And I think one thing with Nelly too is he's also, despite being years into, being a pro, he's still learning and growing, and he's still learning the nuances of the different positions he's been playing. And I think once he's been able to settle in and play one position for, more than a few weeks, he'll be able to be dominant, potentially at that position. And I think field corner is a great spot for him.
How about Jackson Ford and his growth at safety? The guy battles through injuries the last couple of years, and it was almost, you felt sorry for him. Like last year especially, he's standing by the field goal posts, making mental reps while he's got something on his arm or he can't go with the legs. Like, he seems to have stepped in and really progressing week over week. What do you see?
Yeah, man, I think Jackson, has shown throughout his time here, and even when his time with us as a staff, that he wants to be here, that he will do whatever is necessary to be able to play this game. I think he's had some tough, luck and some adversity that he's had to handle earlier in his career, especially with the injuries. But I think now, being able to put weeks together or even a few months here together where he's been able to stay healthy has done a lot for him mentally. And I think mentally he's continued to grow in his role as a safety. He's required to do a lot within our defense. We rely on him to make the calls. He's truly the quarterback of the defense. So that's a role that he's embraced. And we're just trying to keep continuing to help him grow in that role because, it starts and ends with him. He makes the calls, the adjustments, the checks. So the more that he can do those things with confidence, the more that he feels his voice is being heard across the defense, the better he'll be. I think we're still growing, and I think he's still growing in that capacity or that role, but he's shown that now with the, hopefully the injuries behind him, that he can focus on being a good football player. And that's what he's, doing right now. It's what he's showing on the field. And I think that Jackson has a ton of potential. So, I'm looking forward to seeing him continue to unlock that.
Let's just throw out a for instance. For instance, you hold your opponent to 19 yards rushing. Does that make your job a little easier or more fun knowing that the football is going to be in the air that much more every game?
I mean, in theory, it should, for sure. But I think what it's done is it's highlighted that we've still got to be a little more consistent when the ball is in the air. So absolutely think that we're doing a phenomenal job. Shout out to the D-line, shout out to our front seven, Coach Travis and Coach Micah doing a phenomenal job up there as well. But I think, on the back end, you want those opportunities for the ball to go up and the ball to be in the air because that's where we get the chance to, like we say, train through and make plays on the ball. Now, have we done that? Not nearly as good as we should or as good as we have, would have hoped at this point in the season. But, I think we welcome the opportunity for the ball to go up and we want to continue to get those reps because like we said, we hope that there's some, opportunities to make interceptions and finally get those in bunches. But again, we just want to continue to get better at that. And I think, for us, the situational football and the down and distances where we can create opportunities, create turnovers, that's what we're looking forward to. And, the front seven is doing a good job of forcing the ball up. Now we got to go make opportunities and capitalize on opportunities when they present themselves.
As a secondary in preparation week to week, what percentage are you preparing for the scheme that you're going to face and the quarterback that you're going to face?
That's a good question. I couldn't put a percentage on it. I would say that, we really do feel like we do a good job of preparing these guys as far as repetitions and looks and, scheme as far as concepts that we'll see, especially in the, in the passing game. And I think that we do prepare for the quarterbacks. Obviously, this season as a whole in totality across the league has been an interesting one. Tons of different quarterbacks play. A lot of guys that, maybe early in the year you would be like, oh, that's the bona fide starter. We were looking forward to playing Bo Levi, and we didn't get that opportunity. He got hurt the week before we played him the first game. Other guys around the league, Nathan Rourke missing time, other quarterbacks missing time. So we've had to kind of get away from maybe game planning specifically for a quarterback and more kind of just understanding what they do schematically and conceptually and just preparing that way. Because ultimately in a situation like even this week being a prime example, we're expecting one quarterback, but, I'm assuming and we're preparing for if the opportunity presents itself where he gets pulled from the game, we have to be prepared for the other quarterbacks as well. So, again, less, I guess, percentage on the quarterback and more just the schematic and conceptual understanding of what they do.
One of the quarterbacks that could potentially play is Trey Ford, who likes to go off schedule. What kind of challenge does that make for a defensive secondary? As the linemen are going to tell you, we just got to be gap sound. We have to be aware and make sure that we do our jobs. For a secondary, I'd assume there's another layer of challenge to that.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately for us, the one thing that becomes very prevalent right away is, that you got to cover a little longer, and there's a potential that no play is over until it's over. So for us, when we're covering, our guys are going to be told to, worry about coverage first. And if, he's running around, that's cool, but we have a responsibility to cover for as long as it takes and let the, front seven or the D line get after him. And if he crosses the line of scrimmage, then yeah, absolutely. We have a job to do too. We got to get him down. But ultimately, we're not going to sit there and say, hey, he's going to beat us with his legs. We're going to sit there and say, if he wants to beat us with his arm, we welcome that challenge and, good on you. But we think, if we have to bet on someone, we're betting on our guys every time. And I think our guys do a good job of understanding, our scramble rules and how that works. And then also understanding too, like if we're dominant in coverage, he's going to have to run and then we can adjust from there. So for us, it's just about covering a little bit longer than you usually would and being consistent in coverage, right? Because, a lot of our coverage rules allow us to have eyes on the quarterback and see what he's doing there in the pocket until he breaks the line of scrimmage. So we feel like we do a pretty good job of understanding how to deal with quarterbacks that like to run or that have the ability to run the ball.
Coach, this group of players better than anybody else, and obviously Edouard is a name a lot more people are familiar with after last week, but do you think that there's another DB on the team that we're going to know a lot more about by the end of the season?
It's a good question. Honestly, I think, the group as a whole is been very good to coach, man. It's been unbelievable start to the year in terms of just the continuity and the chemistry within the group. I would say that, as the season wears on, that it's tough to say, right? You never know just because of the way that things work out from, ratio to depth chart to changes to special teams, all that stuff. But I would say this, and I know it's probably kind of a little bit vague, but I would say that any of our rookies that are from this rookie class like that were, brought here this year, any of those guys that get thrown in the fire and have to start, I think they would have, the ability to step in and be role players for us that are really going to help us, because I think that whole group of guys that is here chomping at the bit and waiting for their opportunity, any of those guys could play right now. And I think that those guys would help us win games.
We have to put you on the spot with at least one question. Come on.
Of course.
We've got a text-in question. I know we're running out of time. Sorry to keep you, Coach, but
no, all good.
Text question coming in from Luke Mullender wants to know how the Superior School of Michigan State University prepared Malcolm Bell to have such a great career ahead of him.
That's a great question, Luke. That is a great question, and I'm hoping you have the answer because I don't. But I think that I think they did a good job. I think Malcolm Bell will be a good player in this league for years to come. And I think that if you ask Malcolm, he claims UConn, so I'm not going to be the one to stir the pot. But he claims UConn as his school. But
I
know he was a Sparty dog, so. But I'll let Luke have that question with him. But I think Luke asked a good question. I think Malcolm will be a good player for us. He's just got to continue to grow and continue to learn, and he's doing that. And he's getting a lot of on-the-job training. He's out there every week, and he's doing a lot on special teams as well. So, I think Malcolm is becoming a little bit more battle-tested, and I think he's learning through his experiences, good and bad. So Malcolm's going to be all right, man. Malcolm's going to be a good player.
Coach, really appreciate the time. Safe travels and best of luck in Hamilton this weekend.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me on.
Of course. Rider DB coach Jordan Linnon joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline.
Heartbreaker. He just broke Luke's heart. The Sparty party will not happen. Wow.
Yeah, that's not going to end well, but that's okay. Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Riders Coaches Show is brought to you every week by Steelcraft Doors, by the way, made in Western Canada for Western Canada, with locations in Saskatoon, Prince Albert, and serving all of Saskatchewan. Appreciate the coaches taking the time to chat with us every single week. And of course, Coach was on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Perfect pizza with a generous amount of toppings and all the Greek favorites you love. Reminder to go to sportscage.com. Vote on your favorite play of the week, stemming from the Riders' victory 42-20 over the Ottawa Redblacks at home this week. Was it Jonathan Edouard's interception? Was it Dylan Jeté's first career touchdown? Or was it stone cold Tommy Stevens coming in clutch again with another 3 touchdown game? Also, someone here on the YouTube stream, which you can join us at sportscage.com, YouTube or X, someone said if he gets another 3 touchdowns in Hamilton, is that a hat trick in Hamilton?
Oh,
I think that would technically be right. Yeah, can he get a hat trick of hat tricks against Hamilton?
That's a deep thought right there.
I like it. Go for it, Tommy. We're rooting you on. I just want to see that because that's going to be so much fun to talk about. Anyway, we should probably take a quick break here because we do still have your clutch performer coming up. Hang tight. It's the Sports Cage, and it's on the home of Rider Nation, 620 CKRM, and streaming at sportscage.com.
The Roughriders season is here, and the biggest 50-50 in Saskatchewan is back. Last year's 50-50 raised over $3.3 million for amateur football in Saskatchewan, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Rider Nation. This year, we have bigger loyalty and early bird prizes than ever before, not to mention those life-changing 50-50 jackpots. See all of the prizes and buy your tickets today at riders5050.ca, and never miss a chance to win when you sign up for the 50-50 Club.
Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Lottery license LR260010.
What's going on in the markets? When is the right time to invest? What should you do with your money today? When Linda had questions, she talked to Brian Golly.
He's always well prepared and has answers for us. We take it as gospel, and he's led us down the right path so far.
You don't have to plan your financial future alone. Call Brian Golly of Smart Investing Solutions. 306-546-2533.
We would recommend Brian anytime, and we would recommend him to anybody.
Why test for asbestos? Because before 1990, asbestos was commonly used in more than 3,000 building materials and other products. Because when asbestos fibers become airborne, they get into the lungs and cause severe damage over time. Because asbestos exposure is the #1 cause of work-related deaths in Saskatchewan. Built before 1990? Test for asbestos. Start at worksafesask.ca.
The Sports Cage Clutch Performer for Keln Solar. Thinking about saving money by using solar power? Keln Solar is a local family company that can put solar panels on your home, business, or farm. KelnSolar.com.
Couple of clutch performers that we need to get to here. The first one, I am going to toss out there right off the hop here because it's not actually sports related, but I think it is valid to bring this up. If you were at Victoria Park over the weekend, you would have noticed a large gathering of people for a free event in the Regina Exchange Folk Festival. You might remember the Regina Folk Festival unfortunately folded a little while ago. So the exchange, the cultural exchange here in Regina, decided that they were going to fill that void and they were going to put on a free event. They had a full day worth of live music and entertainment. We were there as founding partners, actually, 620 CKRM, as well as The Wolf and Play 92. So we were there, and the volunteers did an absolutely outstanding job putting together a wicked event. And the weather could not have been better.
There you go.
It was like mid-20s, sunshine, 0 wind, beautiful day. So hats off to Zandra, the entire crew, all the security, all of the volunteers who put that together.
You know what? Having organized an outdoor event, I can tell you there is a ton of stress because the weather is out of your control.
Yeah.
And the amount of stress that goes into that and the amount of preparation, I tip my cap as well. Well done.
That is fantastic. I do have more, but I'm going to toss it over to you.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, for me, I'm going to a dynasty. The Southeast Steelers dynasty in Canadian women's fast pitch is continuing.
Ooh.
The Cardiff-based team defeated the host Blackfalds Bandit, 4-2 back this weekend to win the Softball Canada 2026 Women's Canadian Fast Pitch Championship for the 4th consecutive year. So congratulations to the Southeast Steelers, 4 consecutive national championships. And if you haven't watched fast pitch in our province, it is a pretty cool thing. because there are a number of athletes that go under the radar that are very athletic and talented that go to U.S. colleges and perform extremely well. So, again, an amazing job that Fast Pitch and Softball Sask has done in putting these teams together, and to win it 4 years in a row when you have turnover like you do, that's pretty cool. So, Southeast Steelers, congratulations.
Yeah, we tip our cap to you. So that's another clutch performer. I know we briefly mentioned it already, but I did just want to, pay them their due. Team Canada lifting the Helinka Gretzky Cup. Regina Pats forwards Maddox Schultz and Liam Pugh helped capture gold. 8-1 win over the United States. And yes, we did talk about it earlier. Both of them were absolute playmakers. Liam Pugh led the tournament in points. It was pretty cool. Highest totals ever by Canadian U17 players at the tournament as well.
Well, underage players, right?
Yeah.
So they were underage, and I believe that, I could be wrong and stand to be corrected, but I believe that Liam was the youngest player in the tournament and was tied for the tournament lead in points.
Because they were the youngest ever invited, weren't they?
They were right up there, yep.
That is, yeah. Oh, those two hockey players are going to be so incredibly fun to watch at the Brandt Center, and that's going to be here before you know it. So I'm excited to go to some games there. Also, another clutch performer, Trevor Harris. You have to give him a shout out, surpassing 40,000 career passing yards in the game against Ottawa over the weekend. I don't know exactly what the final count is, but he's only one of 13 quarterbacks now to hit that milestone. So pretty cool moment for Trevor Harris, even though we know he wasn't looking at the stat sheet the rest of us were. So we were excited to see that happen. And then I do also want to give another shout out here. We will have your Red Sox report coming up here shortly with interim manager Braydon Cobb. But Brady Bye, final year with the Regina Red Sox, finishing the regular season, 13 home runs, 67 ribbies. That is impressive. So he established a new franchise record in both of those categories. He's from White City, so rewriting the record book as a local player right here in Regina. That's pretty cool. One of very few players to actually hit double-digit homers in the WCBL regular season. He got a 3-run shot on Saturday in Game 2 in that first-round playoff tilt against the Saskatoon Berries. Unfortunately, they didn't go on to win. They are out this season, but Bye also batted .344 with .973 OPS and helped Regina return to the playoffs as the defending league champions. So that's pretty cool. Brady Bye, clutch performer.
Do you want me to put that into context for you?
Yeah, sure.
Brady Bye, in a season that started, end of May, ran until the end of July, has hit more home runs than Vladimir Guerrero Jr. this season.
Oh, jeez. You had to do that to the Jays
it's true.
Fans. It is true.
It is true.
It is very true.
He doesn't get paid nearly as much from what I've been told.
Right on cue.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry, Toronto Blue Jays fans.
Hey, you know what? If you read the headlines in Toronto today, the Jays have got a shot at the wild card spot. They're only 3.5 out, and they play Boston, who's in a wild card spot for 4 this week. Sorry, I digress.
I'm not.
Brady Bye, I don't want to take it away from you. That was absolutely sensational season. A lot of fun to watch that player.
So much fun to watch him, especially that Grand Slam walk-off. First game of the Canada Day doubleheader. That was pretty cool to see. Man, I have a lot here. Also, quick shout-out, Team Sask, obviously beating Quebec 24-3 at Saskatoon Minor Football Field to claim gold in the Nationals, Women's Football Nationals. And then this is a WNBA one. Kayla McBride. Now, get familiar with that name because she made history yesterday, hitting a league record 10 3-pointers for the Minnesota Lynx in their win over Dallas. So McBride scored a career-high 43 points and became the first player in WNBA history to make double-digit threes in a game. That is very cool. Very clutch.
Very good.
Very clutch.
Very clutch.
Did I do enough there? Do we need more? I like giving people shout-outs and kudos. We had no unclutches today, so that's a win.
No, you are kind of burning out the clutch a little, but it worked well, though.
I'm just riding the clutch, okay?
Right.
It's fine. If you're watching the stream here, Curtis has the replay of those 3-pointers from Kayla McBride.
Unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of people that don't know what riding the clutch or burning out the clutch might mean.
I drove a standard vehicle. I had two standard vehicles, actually.
Do you know how difficult it is to find a standard vehicle?
I miss them. I don't know what it is. It just feels like you're driving more than it does in a newer vehicle with an automatic transmission. You know what I mean? Like Sometimes the new technology in these vehicles irritates me, especially the ones where they auto... Oh, I'm sounding like old woman shaking fisted cloud, aren't I?
Where's the cloud? Look.
Oh, no. I don't know. I drove our news cruiser the one time out to Country Thunder, and it was automatically slowing down when people would go in front of me, like to pass on the highway, because they have the... whatever.
So in other words, you enjoy the technology that doesn't allow you to tailgate. Fair enough.
Well, reading between the lines, I guess.
Wow.
Lay off, gentlemen. Lay off, gentlemen. I'm allowed, okay? I miss my standard vehicles.
I hate the new technology in these vehicles. What's that, Tegan? Well, I like pressing that little button on the floor to make my lights go bright. Fair enough.
I'll get over it. Clutch Performer brought to you by Kelm Solar every single day. They can help you with your livestock operations. Book now to get your solar quotes for your home, your farm, your cabin. Save money with the local company that's Kelm Solar in Lumsden. And we do also want to remind you about the Rider Foundation 50/50. Lots of exclusive experiences up for grabs. Early bird prize to be won every single game. Plus, there's also the jackpot, the grand prize. How much did it go for last week? Do you remember?
Over 350, I think.
That'd be nice. Yeah. That'd be pretty good. So obviously, you can win half the money, and you can also win the early bird prize if you buy before 10 o'clock on Thursday. So return flights from Saskatchewan to Montreal. It's a little Montreal getaway for two. You also get 4 nights hotel accommodations right in the heart of downtown Montreal. It sounds like a great little escape. You can also take the money if you'd like. $4,500 cash money. Riders5050.ca. That's where you need to go. Still to come, we have Darian Durant shortly after 5 o'clock. We also have your Red Sox report, the final one of the season, with Braydon Cobb, interim manager of the team. So he'll be joining us around 5:30. And we still have your sprinkle of the day. We're also going to check out your sports ticker. Then we'll catch up with Crofty and a couple other things. Right now, though, we're going to take a break. This is the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
The Roughriders season is here, and the biggest 50-50 in Saskatchewan is back. Last year's 50-50 raised over $3.3 million for amateur football in Saskatchewan, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Rider Nation. This year, we have bigger loyalty and early bird prizes than ever before, not to mention those life-changing 50-50 jackpots. See all of the prizes and buy your tickets today at riders5050.ca, and never miss a chance to win when you sign up for the 50-50 Club.
Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Lottery license LR260010.
Get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
Western Pizza is more than just pizza, and we don't mean ribs and pasta. But for the record, you can get that there too. No, Western Pizza is the perfect partner for every occasion. From late nights polishing papers to parties full of people passing it around while conversation peaks. It's premium leftovers. It's what you pick up for a picnic on a pristine summer day. And of course, it always pleases the palate. Dine in or take out today.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport, 1425 McIntyre Street, the Cooperator Center, Moose Jaw Temple Garden Center, and online at extremehockey.net.
I was just told by someone much smarter than I am in the control room here, Curtis. He let me know it's called adaptive cruise control. Wow. I can't even pronounce it. No, I certainly don't want it.
Why do I have this vision right now of you standing at the front of your vehicle and cranking it to start it in the winter? Why do I have that vision?
You know, you work in radio, you live within your means.
There.
We should probably do the sports ticker.
Your tires are wooden, aren't they?
And square. The Saskatchewan Roughriders have signed national receiver Vishon Janusis. And he is 5'11", 229, fifth-round pick of Calgary in 2025, played in 12 games with the Stamps and got 4 catches for 26 yards. He comes out of a pretty impressive career with the Guelph Griffins as well. He was the 2024 MVP. Major League Baseball action, the Toronto Blue Jays, as you just heard us talking about, are going to be facing the Boston Red Sox on the road. First pitch just after 5. A day off in the WCBL as playoffs continue tomorrow here in Saskatchewan. You got the Berries taking on the Moose Jaw Miller Express in the East Division Final. And let me see here. Sportscage.com poll. You've been commissioned to build a Mount Rushmore of Rough Rider quarterbacks. You got Ron Lancaster, Kent Austin, Darian Durant already up there. Who is the fourth and final face that you want to see on that Mount Rushmore? You can vote at sportscage.com in that same spot, sportscage.com. You can also vote on your favorite play of the week stemming off of that Riders' victory against Ottawa here at home. The final, of course, 42-20. So What was your favorite play? You got 3 options up there. And, of course, we do have the video on there as well if you need to be reminded of what some of these are.
Do you want to know what's leading the way?
Is it Dylan Jeté?
It is.
Really?
Yeah.
Jonathan
Edouard and
CFL touchdown.
Yeah, Tommy Stevens are up there, but Dylan Jeté.
I think maybe it's just because it is his first. It's that much more special.
It was a key time too, though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Got it.
That eventually would have went on to be the game winner. No.
I'll get back to you on that. Math is not my strong suit this morning.
Wow. Me neither. That's why I'm asking you, Dave.
Yeah.
Okay, that was your sports ticker brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport. Also, Jeffrey on the YouTube chat, Prairie Land Rentals text line, by the way. Text us anytime, 306-936-6262. We were talking about cranking my vehicle. He's asking if we finally got rid of parking meters last fall. Actually, no, it was this year. So we're still working on that, actually. Go easy on us. Prairie Land Rentals text line, from small power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need. You can deal directly with the owner at 600 Albert Street. Okay, so we should maybe take a look at our sprinkle of the day here. Okay, I don't know what I want to go with just yet, but getting in on the action, super easy. Go to sportselect.com. Simply make your picks, get your QR code, lock in your bet at your local Lotto Spot retailer, or you can go old school, fill out the slips, but just know every bet is 100% legal with the chance of winning cash in hand. Sports Select, when you're ready to play, bet on the original. Got to just be 18 plus, and you got to do so responsibly. So you can look at futures, or we can just look at tonight's Jays game, but I'm not really that intrigued by this game, if I'm being completely honest with you. So I think maybe let's do a little futures action. Curtis has got me here. If you're watching the stream, you can play along here. What are you thinking? NFL preseason is upon us. In games that mean nothing.
Yeah.
So is it worth a little sprinkle just for fun?
No, because you never know who's going to play and how long, right?
Well, that's true. And this is really just to get some reps out of the way.
However, just a quick camp note. Did you notice Dante Myers got a beautiful touchdown reception in I think that was an inter-squad game for the Bengals over the weekend, right? So good on him. Sorry, I digress.
And the Bengals were getting a little bit chippy earlier in training camp, which is no shocker. This happens every year in the NFL.
That's very Dallas Cowboy-ish, if you will.
Maybe let's take a look at the CFL for this week. I'm a little bit intrigued to see what's going on there. I think we can already. Sports Select is really they know what they're doing. They're up on their game. So we got the BC Lions, Calgary Stampeders. This is an interesting one because I feel like these lines are going to move as the week progresses and we find out more about what these two rosters are going to shake out to look like. But right now,
Calgary favored to win at home. BC, 370 on the
and the over/under 64.5.
See, I think Calgary can light it up. I don't know that BC can. Like I was expecting more. Again, I thought that Nathan Rourke would be tentative coming out with a shoulder injury,
but it wasn't to his throwing arm.
No, he tossed the rock and had some big drops, I thought, by some of his receivers, and I just didn't think the offense was that where they would be. They showed rust, like Nathan Rourke had been out for 3 games.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Okay, so, what does the Riders game look like this week?
Dun, da, da, da.
Let me see here. Okay, so 7-point favorite for the Saskatchewan Roughriders?
Well, you look at what they did with Ottawa. However, Hamilton is a real hard place to go in and win. The Riders have done well the last 2 seasons there.
Steeltown shows up.
But it's usually hot, humid, sticky in Hamilton. It's going to be a later game for the Hamilton Tiger Cats with a 7 o'clock local start. Kickoff is at 5.
Prime time.
Yeah. So, but...
And again, 56.5.
Scott Milanovic isn't blowing things up like they're doing in Ottawa, but he's definitely not happy with the performance of his quarterback position. It sounds like Harrison Frost will start again.
Which is an interesting decision.
Yes, it is when you've got quarterbacks with starting experience in Jake Dolegala and Trey Ford sitting on your bench.
Short yardage. Dolegala's been looking good.
Yeah, but you got to get to short yardage. There's 9 other yards before he comes in to do that.
And Dolegala can literally just reach out his arm. That dude is like 7 feet. So
he's
he's a tall guy.
I don't know. It didn't take long for Milanovic to back Frost as being his starter this week, but
That can change.
Yeah, 7 points. 7 points is tough on the road, I'd say.
Yeah, I would say that's a little bit challenging. Still taking the Riders in this one. They're coming off that big win where obviously some adjustments needed to be made heading into the second half. But I think going on the road for a couple of games now, they're really going to dial in.
They go coast to coast, kind of, right? So they go out east to Hamilton, and then next week they're
BC?
in BC.
And then they're home to Toronto.
Yeah.
And then aren't we in Labor Day?
Then we're at Labor Day.
Geez, summer is gone.
Do not say that.
Don't get mad at me. There's still time to go golfing. It's fine. So, yeah, that's your sprinkle of the day. That's what we decided on, right?
Yes.
We're going to go with the
all of the
Lions
above.
and Stamps game, and then we're going to go with the Riders in Hamilton.
Didn't touch Winnipeg, Ottawa.
No. I don't think that one's going to be worth it, but that's just my opinion.
Fair.
So if you want to check that out for yourself, sportsselect.com, you can bet on lots of things. Stanley Cup, you can already go ahead and look real far in advance with the futures if you want. Super Bowl, NBA Final, NCAA, soccer, NASCAR, they got everything there. And also, did you hear that someone won $44 million in Saskatchewan this weekend?
I did hear that, but it wasn't me.
Well, obviously, because you're here today.
I would have been here anyways.
Sure. I'm just saying it out loud because they didn't say where this ticket was purchased. That it was purchased in Saskatchewan, not Regina, not Saskatoon, but there's a lot of people, driving around, going camping, whatever. So just a reminder of your favorite radio station hosts and technical producer. Don't forget about us little people when you go cash in that money.
Maybe someone in Maple Creek won.
You never know. You never know. Could be someone from Southie. Could be someone from Mortlack.
Do we really want to go down this road to see who can name more Saskatchewan communities?
No, we probably
shouldn't. We could be here a while.
Because we also can't keep our next person waiting.
No.
Here. Western Pizza Guest Hotline. We're heading out to say hello to Crofty, Mr. Dan Croft. You did not win $44 million either. I'm sorry to hear that.
No, I'm still at the office, so, but I love my job. I love our customers, so I'd still be here if I won.
Hey, look at you turning that into a positive. You guys get all set up for the tailgate on Friday night at Mosaic Stadium?
We didn't. We did a limited tailgate Friday just because we were busy Friday afternoon with some work engagement stuff, and but raring to get going on the next one for sure. Can't wait.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was kind of nice, though. We kind of got to wander through other people's on our way through. So it was that part was kind of nice. Got to spend a little time in a few other people's tailgates, so kind of see how to make ours better, if you will, right?
Well, and given the amount of food that you probably dished out, it was about time for you to be fed by someone else.
That's true.
You got to spread the love. So what has been keeping you busy? I know you said Friday was a pretty active one for you. I imagine this preferred customer program's keeping you quite occupied this time of year.
It is, and we have our farm friends starting to think about harvest and starting to think about seed drying and grain drying and all that stuff, and they need to upgrade some electrical services as well as, that this August, a little bit of I don't want to call it a lull because we're flat out busy, but it's kind of people stop thinking about that evil white stuff that starts to drop later on in the year, and then when September rolls in, all of a sudden everybody remembers that season comes back. So we just want to get out in people's, heads to start thinking about fall and start thinking about, that evil winter that let's get ahead of it. Let's get us out to your business, get your building ready for winter, fall and winter. Holy, can't talk. Let us give you that 24-point inspection. Let us find out where the weakness is on your electrical system. Or if you have that project and you kind of been on the back burner and kind of waiting to get it done, now's the time. Let's pull the trigger. Let's get it booked in.
Well, I appreciate you not dropping the S word there because this is a family-friendly program, Crofty. How do we get in touch with you to get all linked up on the preferred customer program and, find out all of the services that you have to offer?
Yes, please check us out on the website at www.croftelectric.com. Follow us on all socials for things like our Friday Funnies and Tip Tuesdays. And, regular business hours, give Amy a call at 306-586-1333, and she'll juggle and make room and make sure we can get you in for whether it's a quote or whether it's just to come out and get it fixed.
Well, we appreciate your time, as always, Dan Croft, or Crofty of Croft Electric. And we'll catch up with you later in the week.
You betcha. Have a great show.
You too. Thank you. Do it right. Do it once. Croft Electric. And yes, I just said you too, as if he was also hosting a show. You know, it's like when a server comes up and says, enjoy your meal, and you say, yeah, you too. I will see myself out. Okay, we're taking a break. It's a Sports Cage, and it's on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
This is Country Gold with Steve Harmon, your home for the country hits of the 80s, 90s, and 2000s.
Hello, I'm Steve Harmon, inviting you to join me for Country Gold. Each week we play country favorites from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and we check in with the stars who made them, too. This weekend on Country Gold.
Country Gold, brought to you by Trent Dickin and his experienced team at Flooring Superstore. Saturday mornings at 6 and Sunday afternoons at 4 on the Voice of Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
Great coaches make great calls. And at home, you're in control of the game. Add SaskTel TV to your lineup and enjoy popular channels, including sports in stunning 4K for as low as $40 a month. So, what do you say, Coach? Ready to add in the difference maker? Visit SaskTel.com/make-the-call to learn more. Conditions apply.
The world is changing. From the misuse of AI and the rise of deepfakes to the dangerous spread of misinformation, it's getting harder for Canadians to separate fact from fiction. That's why having a trustworthy news source is vital. At Global News, we're committed to objective journalism that cuts through the noise. Stick to the facts. Global News, Canada's trusted news.
Is it time to refresh your cottage this summer? It's easy with lakeside deliveries from Freeze Tallman. Whether you're rebuilding the deck, fixing the dock, or taking on a full cabin project, Freeze Tallman delivers the building materials you need right to the lake. With reliable service and delivery you can count on, you'll spend less time running around and more time enjoying the weekend. Start your summer project at freezetallman.com. Freeze Tallman. Locally owned, family grown, rooted in our community for 70 years.
We are 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station, broadcasting live from downtown Regina.
The news is brought to you by Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, home of Saskatchewan's biggest selection of Ram trucks and Jeeps. CrestviewChrysler.ca.
News is brought to you by Echo Sound in Fort Capel. Stay connected with a new cell phone from Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer. Call 306-332-6711.
It's 5 o'clock. Good evening. Mostly cloudy and 21 degrees in Regina. I'm Will Mantic from the Sask Today newsroom with 620 CKRM and News. Saskatchewan's housing market continues to face low inventory despite strong sales during the traditionally busy summer season. There were 1,653 residential sales in July, 11% below last year's record pace, but more than 8% above the 10-year average for the first 7 months. The province had 3,858 active listings heading into August, equal to just over 2 months of supply. Regina recorded 382 sales with a benchmark price of $349,800, up 3% from July of 2025. The Canadian Crop Hail Association says a stormy July has resulted in a heavy flow of claims. The association says the rainy summer has seen claims filed on more than 400,000 hectares of land. Within the region, association member companies investigated more than 4,000 claims. It warns that as crops ripen, any hail or windstorms could lead to more severe loss. British Columbia declared a state of emergency over the weekend. This comes as one person has died and more extensive property destruction due to the Bald Range fire. Defense Minister David McGuinty says the Canadian Armed Forces are ready to help.
It's now really a question of assessing hour by hour, as we have been doing all weekend and most of last night, to see what the status is. The Canadian Armed Forces are on standby, are in direct, constant contact with our Government Operations Centre, our emergency preparedness folks, the BC government, their officials.
The wildfire situation in BC has forced the evacuations of over 20,000 people. Stakeholders are raising concerns about a possible new property tax subclass for standalone surface parking lots in Regina City Centre. The city found 142 such lots, with about 66% or 95 of them designated for specific users. Officials say redevelopment is being limited by construction costs, market conditions, and land prices. Some stakeholders believe incentives would work better than a tax. City administration has not yet made a recommendation, with a report scheduled for council on October 7th. That's 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sastoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Weather is next.
Matt Fisher here, General Manager at Crestview Chrysler. You know, our staff here is the best in town, so anytime they're ready for a new vehicle, they get the best price. For a limited time, we're giving that same discount to you. And you know what that means. You pay what we pay. We got a huge selection of Ram trucks, Wranglers, Durangos, Pacificas, and everything in between. If you're shopping for something new, this is officially the best time to stop in and see us. Don't miss employee pricing at Crestview in Regina.
Come on.
What happened?
Broken strings again.
That's the third one this summer.
Maybe the beach doesn't like your solos, man.
Hey, man, while you're changing that up, we're going to head to Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer.
Get connected with SaskTel Internet, Max Stream TV, and the latest cell phones. Laptops are in stock at great prices, and once they're gone, prices are going up. So now's the time to buy. Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Capel. EchoSound.ca.
Weather for Next Gen Coatings. Spray coatings for truck bed liners, rocker panels, and more. Same company, new name. 1865 McCarra Street, Regina. And Kevin's Marine. Make the most of summer with a boat or pontoon from Kevin's Marine in Fort Capel. kevinsmarine.com.
In your precision weather forecast tonight, partly cloudy, a northeast wind between 10 to 20 kilometers an hour, a low of 10. Tomorrow, partly sunny, isolated showers, a northeast wind between 10 to 20, a high of 22 degrees. Tomorrow night's low, 9. Wednesday, mostly sunny, spotty showers and storms, a high of 20. Thursday, partly sunny, isolated showers, a high of 21. And Friday, showers likely, a high of 18. Taking a look across the province at this hour, Saskatoon 22, Swift Current 22, Assiniboia 24, Broadview and Moosomin 20, Yorkton and Melville 21, Estevan 22, Weyburn 22. Right now in Moose Jaw, it's mostly cloudy. There's a west wind of 5 and it's 24 degrees. In Regina, it's mostly cloudy. There's a northwest wind to 9 and it's 21. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sastoday.ca.
For over 40 years, you've known them as Regina's trusted vehicle protection specialists. Now they're introducing the next gen of coatings. New name, new level of protection. They're now Next Gen Coatings. 3 generations of their family have served your family, and that hasn't changed. Same owners, same commitment, ready for the next gen of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards. The company hasn't changed, just the name. Next Gen Coatings, 1865 McCarra Street. The next gen starts now.
At Kevin's Marine, the lineup is stacked and ready. Legendary Lund boats built for serious fishing and non-stop family fun. Stretch out, crank the tunes, and cruise in style on a brand new pontoon from Bentley or Crest. Or drop the throttle and make waves in a 4-wind sport boat. All powered by trusted Mercury 4-stroke motors. Right now, manufacturer rebates, dealer discounts, and low payment financing. Make decking easy with Shoremaster aluminum docks and lifts. Visit Kevin's Marine in Fort Capel or kevinsmarine.com.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back to the Monday edition of the Sports Cage. I'm Tegan Whitco with Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Curtis Gammon, Backgammon, keeping us on the air at 620 CKRM. We're also streaming. That's apparently what Barney nicknamed him. Backgammon?
Okay.
I don't know. Gotta have a nickname for him. I'm not gonna call him Coulson 2 like Luke.
There.
He deserves to have his own unique name, you know?
There you go.
That's just my opinion. Anyway, we are streaming on X, sportscage.com, our YouTube channel as well. You can join in the conversation there or text us at any point, 306-936-6262. But we are going to jump out on the Western Pizza guest hotline here for our next guest, the one and only Mr. Darian Durant.
It's time for Double Talk with Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Darian Durant. Double Talk is brought to you by Dutch Agriculture. Inspect your openers now with Dutch Agriculture's On Farm for You program, so you're not caught off guard in the spring.
Darian, it's been a minute. Nice to see you and talk to you again.
Yeah, good to talk to you guys. It feels like it's been forever.
Well, we had to have that stupid long weekend last week, so we didn't have a chance to catch up with you.
First time that's ever been said. Stupid long weekend.
Right. You would think most people are looking forward to it, right?
Well, messes up my schedule. We did miss a game entirely that we haven't had a chance to talk about. We don't need to get into the weeds here too much, Darian, but I gotta ask you, Quali Conley, the reverse hurdle last week in Edmonton, wild.
It was one of those plays that you'll always remember. And what's so special about it is if you go through social media, you see the comparisons with the Saquon Barkley reverse hurdle. Even though he didn't get as high or his vert wasn't as good as Saquon, it still was an awesome play. He was able to keep running afterwards for a few more yards. So way to make the highlight reel, man. Another one for the good guys in Saskatchewan.
Yes, it did blow up, absolutely. And you know what? The other thing that's kind of blowing up right now is the kudos to Trevor Harris getting to 40,000 yards. You know, what does that accomplishment mean? Like, can you put it into context, Darian?
Man, it's huge. I mean, there's only 12 guys in the history of the league to ever accomplish something like that. So it's just a testament to his longevity, first and foremost. I mean, the ability to stay healthy, the ability to be consistent. No matter what locker room you're in or what city you're playing in, you come with your same hard hat, lunch pail mentality just to get the work done. And he's done that every place he's been. So and just his accuracy, man. I mean, there's something that I've always said about Trevor. It's always amazed me how he's able to be so consistently accurate each and every time he touches the field. It's just amazing to watch. So, kudos to Trevor. Congratulations. I message as well. Just a special feat by him to accomplish. And, what a great guy to accomplish something like that as well.
And then you look at the players that he's throwing the ball to Friday night at Mosaic Stadium, right? I mean, you have quite a few key receiving core guys down and out, not playing, and then the young guys stepping up. What did you see?
Yeah, I just saw two young guys in Mims and Johnson just come in and just be ready to work. I think whenever you're around Coach Mace long enough and you're led by J.O. and some of these veterans in that locker room, especially some of these guys on the coaching staff as well who've played the game, who've been had a lot of success, Grey Cup champions on that coaching staff as well. It's always about next man up. You never know when the injury bug may hunt your team, and it seemed like this is the year for the Riders with the injury bug. And guys just seem to be able to just step up, step in, and not miss a beat. So great job by the coaching staff of having these guys ready. The players, the veterans on the team of knowing that you always need to let these guys get reps. You always want to talk to these guys to make sure that they know what they're doing, because you never know when your number may be called. So just from the top down, just having guys ready to step in whenever their number is called is just huge for any organization. So great job by J.O. on down for just having guys ready to step up and make plays.
It's more than just talk when they say next man up, and they seem to prove it over and over again. And one of the next players up this week was receiver Dylan Jette. And a couple of questions for you, Darian. First and foremost, I was intrigued by the first offensive play call of the game is a screen to the rookie receiver. Obviously, that was schemed up and thought about well ahead of plan. I don't know if Jette knew it or not, but what does that mean that you go to him right off the hop?
Well, you want to just get them comfortable, right? When the guys haven't played in a while, or you may be a little bit jittery going into a game, you want to get that first catch or touch the ball early as an offensive guy, just to get the jit out of the way, get into the feeling of the game. the flow, everything that comes with it. So just shows a lot of confidence by Coach Mueller as well as going to a guy who hasn't gotten a lot of touches, get him early and try to see what he can do to make him comfortable.
And, you know, with Dylan Jetté, that was his first career CFL touchdown. He comes in, drafted this season, injured, doesn't get a chance to play a whole lot, finally dresses last week and gets his home debut this week and then scores that touchdown. And it ended up being a pretty big one. I know that he took that game ball home with him.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you threw your first career CFL touchdown and what you did with that ball? Do you still have it?
Absolutely, I still have it. It was in Hamilton to Weston Dressler. I mean, I'll never forget that. It was a special play for me, and it was kind of a sense of belonging for myself, right? A lot of guys, you feel like you should be there, but once you can get in and contribute when the lights are on and you're able to show your teammates and show your coaches that you can make plays. Some guys are gamers, right? A lot of guys, they go out there and they're in practice and they're killing it, and then by the time they get in the game, you just don't know. They're unheard of, right? You've never seen them. You're like, wow, is this the guy that comes to practice and dominates every day? And then some guys, they do nothing in practice and they're gamers. So you much rather have the gamers, and these guys that come in when guys are hurt, they show that they're gamers each and every week.
How aware are you of milestones for your teammates? And what I'm getting at is, so Trevor Harris throws for 40,000 yards. He's been there. He's done that he's got a number of accomplishments to his name, but he throws to a raw rookie and Dylan Jetté, and Trevor is one of the first guys to go into the end zone and shake his hand. Like, congratulations, welcome to the pros. Like, how often are you aware that you're throwing a guy his first touchdown pass, and what does it mean when a veteran takes that leadership role and, hey, says to the young guy, you did it?
Well, for a guy like Trevor, I think that records don't really mean much to him. I think it's all about winning Grey Cups and being the best teammate possible. So for him, I don't even think he knew. I mean, someone, especially Gordy on the sideline or something like that, may have told him that he was, close to accomplishing 40,000 yards. But me knowing him, I don't think it's something that he's thinking about. I don't think that he's going out on the field saying, I need to get 20 more yards to accomplish this goal. It's all about completion after completion after completion for Trevor. It's all about winning. And it just shows you that records aren't that important to him, for him to just go shake his hand, not even worry about the ball or what he just accomplished. It's on to the next play. Congratulations. Let's move on. And that's just the kind of guy he is.
We heard the term team win quite a bit following the game on Friday night at Mosaic Stadium, and it truly was that. But as a team, how do you go into that mentally preparing for, okay, we're a little banged up. Now, how do we just move forward? What's the next course of action here to ensure that we don't skip a beat, even with Kean Schaefer-Baker out, even with Sam Emilus out?
Well, going into the Ottawa game, it was it can't be us. We're not going to be the team to let Ottawa get its first win on. So that in itself is enough motivation for guys. If you're going into the game, you may not really be up for it. You're thinking, oh, here we go. We had to play Ottawa again. Well, you have to find some motivation somewhere. So for that Ottawa game, it was it's not going to be us. We won't let Ottawa get its first win on us. And then moving forward, you just have to stack wins. I mean, we see the standings. We see how things are now tight at the top of the West with Edmonton going down. You see what Montreal is doing to kind of pull away in the East. So the Riders know what they have to do each and every week. I don't think that there'll be any letdown from this team, and they'll be ready to go each and every week. You can best believe that.
I know I should never read social media, but one of the narratives that I read was a condemnation of the slow start the Roughriders might have had against the winless Ottawa Redblacks. But talking with Trevor Harris and some of the coaches after the game, they said, you know what, we just had to figure out what they were going to present. Of course, Ottawa had a new defensive coordinator. Once we figured that out, then we got rolling in the second quarter, in the third quarter, and the fourth, which they did. Can you take me inside those conversations in game when you're trying to understand what an opposition might be throwing at you? Is that solely you and the offensive coordinator, or are there other coaches that get involved?
Well, you just want to see how they're going to attack, right? You don't know if they're going to come out and be super aggressive and blitz over and over, or if they're just going to sit back in zone and play coverage. So you don't want to expose your quarterback. You don't want to put him in situations where a blitz may be coming and he's not ready for it, or they may bring an extra defender, then you can block, and then he takes a hit in the back of the head and something may happen. So it's kind of like a boxing match early. It's a feel out process. You're throwing little slow jabs here, just trying to get a feel for what they're doing. So I wouldn't call that, really a slow start. I just call it a filling out process. We all knew that the Riders were going to win this game. It's a matter of how much. And they found out what Ottawa was doing. They did a great job of just not letting Ottawa get to them and just executing and doing what they do best. That's pretty much what I saw from the Riders.
Jonathan Edouard finally gives the Riders their first interception from a defensive back this season, and that came right after the Riders went up 28-14. A couple plays later, we see Tommy Stevens take it to the house yet again. Doesn't he always? I'm just curious how much a defensive play like that can really just reinvigorate a team.
Man, especially at home, like you make a big play, crowd gets involved. Like you said, a slow start. The crowd may not have been as jumpy and as cheery as you would have liked early on in the game. So when you can string together a couple big plays, you get a huge interception when, Ottawa's trying to go down and score. And then you come and T-Train, run again, man. It's just, it makes that environment just that much more special. So, we already know how Saskatchewan fans are and how live they make Mosaic Stadium. But when you can string together a couple big plays, get them on their feet, get them excited, it just ups the atmosphere tenfold.
Yeah, that was a pretty nice play, hey?
It was. Great catch. Great diving catch.
Speaking of stringing together, though, the Riders went into tempo or no-huddle offense, whichever you prefer to call it, at various points during the game when they were trying to dictate the pace. And to me, I was surprised. I thought, you've got a younger group of receivers in, and you're going to go no huddle. Were you surprised by that at all? And what are the advantages to doing that?
Yeah, sometimes when you have a group of young guys, it's better to go faster. It's better for them not to have to go out there and overthink things. And then you can simplify it with one-word plays. You don't make it like a SAT or anything like that where they have to just overthink the game. You want to make it simple. You want to make it easy. You want these guys to just go out and let their athletic abilities take over. So in this case, I think it was a brilliant idea so that, they don't have to go out there. And another thing you do when you go no huddle is you limit the complex defensive calls that Ottawa can make against the offense as well. Now they have to get their signals in quickly. They have to run some vanilla coverages. So you can kind of dictate what they're doing defensively by speeding up the pace as well. So I thought it was a great switch up by Coach Mueller.
The other thing we saw more of from the Riders offense in this game than any other game this season was the stop motion, right? So you bring the receivers to the line and everybody stops. You're hoping, I'm guessing, that the defense is going to declare something. When you're running that type of play, what are you looking for as a quarterback, Darian? Is there a specific key or player you're watching?
Yeah, there are a couple things you're looking for. First and foremost, you want to see where the free safety is. If they're going to blitz or if they're going to bring some pressure, then your free safety is usually the guy that tips off where that extra man may be blitzing from. So you get a head start running to the line of scrimmage, and you want the defense to declare what they're going to do or at least give you an idea. And like Trevor mentioned, and I said about the chess match and the feel out process, you kind of can do that with the stop motion, especially with Ottawa having a new defensive coordinator. You want to see how he's trying to attack your offense. So, you just wanted to feel, it's just a filling out situation. It's just a situation where you want to, 1, protect your quarterback, 2, see what they're doing, and 3, try to get a big play or 2 out of just catching them off guard. So I think the Riders were able to accomplish everything that they needed to offensively with the stop motion.
A little bit of competition maybe brought in last week by the Saskatchewan Roughriders for kicker Alex Hale. Obviously, he's been under some scrutiny. Kickers, getting some flack here in Saskatchewan. Imagine that. From your experience, how does bringing in another kicker into the room help a guy like Hale? Do you think that that's just the extra boost that he needed because he didn't make any mistakes on Friday night?
Yeah, I mean, look, it could go one or two ways. You could either give in to the pressure and worry about another guy coming in to take your job, or you can do the complete opposite and then let it motivate you, and you lock in, and now you're focused and you do your job at a higher level. So it's still too early to tell, but in this line of work that we have, it's all about pressure. It's all about bringing in guys to, give you a little bit of push, give you a little bit of motivation, and hopefully that can bring out the competitor in you and bring out the best in you as a player. So, we'll see how it goes. We'll see if the pressure becomes too much. But so far, there haven't been any situations where we're in a game-winning kick situation or a situation where you have to send a game into overtime or something like that when we can really, really feel the pressure from a kicker. We haven't really been in that situation yet. So I will hold on to my judgment until we get in that situation and see what happens.
A question and a follow-up. The Hamilton Tiger Cats are the opponent this week. So when you're challenging players and when you're competing for jobs, like you mentioned, Darian, in that quarterback room right now, Harrison Frost, you've got guys that who have started all of one game now, Trey Ford, who started in Edmonton, and Jake Dolegala, who started in Saskatchewan and, of course, has had some playing time in BC. What must be going on in that quarterback room when it comes to determining who is going to play and how they're going to play?
It's tough, man. And, you just look at the schedules and the teams they're playing, the quarterbacks they're going against, and you're just like, when can Ottawa show up on our schedule so we can kind of get a fair evaluation of our quarterbacks? It's just a tough situation to be in, man. I mean, when you see Trey Ford get pulled so early and coach kind of give up on you and, bring the next guy in, you don't know what he's looking for. Actually, you don't know if he's even going to give you an opportunity to settle in and make some mistakes, and then you can get a chance to show that you can do something. So it's a tough situation, man. I've been in situations in the locker room where I've rotated every 2 series. I've rotated every quarter. You name it, I've done it. It's definitely an uncomfortable thing. And, as a quarterback, a quarterback is a rhythm position, right? Sometimes you may not get going to the second half. You may not get going till late in the second quarter. You just never know. So I hate to see this happen, and especially with Scott Milanovich being a former quarterback, he understands about rhythm, and it just seems like he's in desperation mode right now, and he's not giving his guys an opportunity to kind of settle in and play through some of those mistakes.
So having said that, and your personal opinion and personal experience, Darian, is probably the better way to word this. Rob Vanstone, in Today in Riders History a couple of weeks ago, reminded us of the anniversary of your first career start. But in that game, you started, but you also gave way to Stephen Giles at one point during the game. Can you take me through that game and what it was like knowing beforehand that, hey, I'm not going start to finish in this thing?
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough, man. You want to go out there and show coaches that you are the guy, you have the ability to lead the team, the franchise. And then when they just don't have that confidence in you, or they're still trying to figure out if you're even that guy, it's nerve-wracking, right? It's not a fun situation to be in. And, quarterback is the one position where you don't want any uncertainty, right? You want everything to be set in stone. You want to know what you have, what you're going to get each and every week from that position. So, I didn't like it, and I wasn't short for explaining to the world why I didn't like it. But at the same time, you have to understand that and be a professional. And that this is a business, and coaches and GMs are going to do what they have to do to make sure that they have the right guys for every spot. So it's not a fun situation to be in, for sure.
But I was accurate, right? That is what happened, right? And
well, my first career start, that didn't happen, but because I started in 2000, and that's before Stephen Giles even got to the Riders. But he came in 2009.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's when we were rotating, and there was a little uncertainty there, and Eric Tillman kind of felt like there needed to be a battle there.
And how do you do that battle, right, with your teammate, right? You want the playing time. I'm assuming that's the same in the Hamilton QB room right now. They all want the playing time.
Yeah.
But you got to be a teammate too, right?
Well, you have to, and I think the thing that matters is winning. I mean, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, it's all about wins and losses, right? Every guy wants to go out there and have the best stats in the world, but if you're losing, then most guys on the team are going to lose their jobs, and it starts with the head coach. So first and foremost, you want to be a good teammate. You want to help out the quarterbacks. You want to make sure that you're doing everything you need to do. And not only that, if you have any ambition of being a starter, it could be for one team or it could be for another team. You don't want to go down as that selfish guy. You don't want, GMs to be talking and you kind of get bad mouthed a little bit about not having the right attitude or not being a team player. So as much as you want to start, you have to be a team player first, and it's all about wins, and you have to help each other out as much as possible.
We're on the topic of quarterbacks, so I have to ask you, Darian. Stone cold Tommy Stevens. He does it again. 2 games back-to-back where he scores 3 touchdowns. He might be one of the most popular men in Saskatchewan right now. What makes him so hard to defend against?
Man, he just has that knack for finding the end zone or being able to turn a negative play into a positive, or to get a positive play every single time he touches the ball. I mean, some guys just have a special talent. It's a reason why the Riders signed him for this specific job, not even worrying about if he could throw the ball or be consistent throwing. He doesn't even care if he's the backup quarterback or not. He knows his role. He knows what he's supposed to do. So, when you have a weapon like this, man, and you can see, I think Calgary shows you how important, being able to get a yard is in this league. And that's something that the Riders don't ever have to worry about with Tommy Stevens. So, he's a dangerous guy, man, at that role. And, each and every week he shows why he's so important to the Riders and their short yardage offense.
True or false? Trevor Harris in those packages, right, stays in and sprints out as a wide receiver. And it was comical because if you look in the last one, he lined up on the wrong side and had to go to the other side, which is funny. True or false that they've got a play where Tommy is going to throw him the ball?
Definitely. True.
I'm not saying
true.
They'll do it.
Right. But you have to have these variations, right? I mean, each and every week you practice, what if they, take a guy and line him up in the box, or they put, they decide that they don't want to cover Trevor, or they're going to cover him in between and try to get an extra guy to kind of help tackle Tommy Stevens. So you best believe the Riders are working on something. And when that opportunity presents itself, Coach Mueller, he's smart, man. He knows when to call what. I watch out for that. So I hate that we have to talk about this publicly because now other teams can prepare for it. But definitely, it's in the holster waiting to be called for sure.
Oh, I can't wait to watch that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, what are you anticipating this week in Hamilton?
Well, I anticipate another desperate team coming in. I'm sorry, the Riders going out there. I'm sorry about that. But I expect another desperate team in Hamilton. The Riders can't let, this opportunity pass them by when you're playing against backup quarterbacks, guys who don't know too about the league. You have to make the game tough on these guys, right? So I expect the defense to kind of confuse them a little bit, make it tough on them. I expect Trevor and the offense to be as efficient as they can be. I expect a little more pressure this week from Hamilton. I think Ottawa kind of sat back and let Trevor pick them apart, even with the receivers being on the injured list. So I don't expect Hamilton to just sit back and let these young receivers just run up and down the field. I expect them to come up in their face and pressure Trevor a little bit. They have nothing to lose, right? So, these are the dangerous teams you need to watch out for. And, this could be a dangerous Hamilton team coming up this weekend.
Historically, Hamilton's tough to play. How come it's tough to play in Hamilton?
Well, it's a rowdy place there, man. It's first and foremost, when it's hot and it's muggy in the summertime, the humidity there gets tough. So, you add that onto the fans. They have a good group of fans there, and now you put that with a desperate team who's just so desperate to win, quarterback position, so desperate to show that they belong. Guys fighting for their careers. It's just a lot going on there, and these are the type of teams you want to watch out for. So whenever there's desperation up in the air, you have to be on high alert, and I'm sure Coach Mace is letting the guys know for sure that they better watch out for this team this weekend.
Nathan, just to quickly switch gears, Nathan Rourke returned this past week in BC. Did you see anything from Nathan at all? To me, it almost seemed like, he's back. We don't have to go ahead and maybe do the things that have made us successful. I thought there was maybe a lot put on Nathan Rourke returning. Your thoughts?
Yeah, there is a lot put on Nathan, but I think more than anything, the Lions just they seem more confident. They seem like they knew that they had a guy that they could rely on. He wasn't going to, run around back there in the pocket. He was going to sit back there, try to make the throws necessary in the pocket to get the receivers going, and that's what he did. It took him a little bit longer than I expected to get really, really into the flow of things, but late in the game, he had a huge drive. He showed he's possibly one of the top players in the league. Now it's just all about consistency from BC and if they can string together a couple games here.
Well, Darian Durant, we appreciate your time as always. I think we've taken up more of it today than we usually do, so thanks for doing that. We're making up for lost time. We didn't talk last week.
No problem. I always enjoy it.
Well, yeah, Tegan's still ticked off about the whole long weekend thing.
Yeah. Oh, no. Days off. Dang.
Yeah, I know.
Well, we'll do it again next week. Thanks so much, Darian.
All right. Take care, guys.
You too. Of course, Darian Durant joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. You make it sound... I just wanted to talk football on Monday. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not at all. And can I just correct myself? I think I said Justin Hardy was a receiver for BC. Of course, he plays in Ottawa. I was thinking Keon Hatcher, by the way. Just in case somebody called me out.
Yeah, that's the only time anyone on this program has messed something up today.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And a reminder here, pick the score, get in on this, send us your name. This is the last time I'm going to bring it up today. So if you want in on the draw, send us your score prediction for this weekend's game in Hamilton, Saskatchewan, Hamilton on Saturday night. Kickoff is at 5 o'clock. What do you think the final score will be? Send us that and your name, 306-936-6262. We play Pick the Score with SaskTel every week, a chance for you to win tickets to the next Rider home game, in addition to a $200 SaskTel gift card. So the number again, 306-936-6262. Get those into us while you still can. We're going to take a break because we have your Red Sox report on the horizon along with your sports ticker. It's a Sports Cage on the home of Rider Nation, 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
This is Country Gold with Steve Harmon, your home for the country hits of the 80s, 90s, and 2000s.
Hello, I'm Steve Harmon, inviting you to join me for Country Gold. Each week we play country favorites from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and we check in with the stars who made them, too. This weekend on Country Gold.
Country Gold, brought to you by Trent Dickin and his experienced team at Flooring Superstore. Saturday mornings at 6 and Sunday afternoons at 4 on the Voice of Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
Did he really drop $500,000 on that used drill?
Yep.
It still hasn't figured out openers matter more than gadgets. Textbook Bill, right?
Morning, everyone. That drill is fancy, but it won't make up for worn openers. Missed rows, poor placement, it always happens by the road. Check them now, swap them if you need.
Fancy drill or not, accuracy and consistency starts at the opener. Talk to Andrew or your local Dutch dealer. Dutch Agriculture, precision where it counts. Visit DutchOpeners.com. Dutch Agriculture, on farm for you.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. Combined with a LiftMaster opener, it's the right choice. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. And a LiftMaster opener. 100% made by Canadians for Canadians. Steady, tariff-free pricing and great quality, no matter what.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Play of the game? Touchdown! More like the game to play. The new Saskatchewan Roughriders Scratch and Win ticket. It's your chance to win 10 years of Rider season tickets, a premium suite for the home opener and the Labor Day Classic, and tons of Rider swag. Plus, 2 chances to win $75,000. Tickets available at your favorite lottery retailers. Proudly brought to you by Sask Lotteries, supporting sport, culture, and recreation across the province. Please play responsibly.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
Yeah, taking a look at your sports ticker. Saskatchewan Roughriders have signed national receiver Vishan Janusis, pardon me. Wow. Okay, he's 5'11", 229 pounds, fifth-round pick of Calgary in 2025, and he played in 12 games with the Stamps. Again, receiver signed by Saskatchewan. You also have Major League Baseball regular season action taking place right now. The Jays and Red Sox scoreless at the end of the second inning. Day off in the WCBL as playoffs continue. Game 1 tomorrow between the Berries and Moose Jaw Miller Express in the East Division Final. Sportscage.com poll. If you were commissioned to build a Mount Rushmore of Rough Rider quarterbacks, and you have Lancaster, Austin, and Darian Durant already on that Mount Rushmore, who is the fourth? You can let us know what you think by voting at sportscage.com. You can also vote on your play of the game on there. What's going on, Dave?
Nothing.
Okay,
no,
he's joining me now.
Somebody, never mind. Long story, downtown Regina-ish.
Oh, I don't even want to know. Okay, I should also quickly mention here, Team Canada did lift the Helinka Gretzky Cup. Maddox Schultz, Liam Pugh, big performers in the tournament as Canada beat the U.S. 8-1 in the gold medal game. Sports Ticker is brought to you by Steelcraft Doors, and we are going to be heading out on the Western Pizza guest hotline here yet again. I'm not sure if we're ready to rock and roll yet. Okay, we're not. So we'll hang tight here for a second as we get our next guest ready to rock, because this is going to be the final Regina Red Sox report of the season. Unfortunately, their season did come to a close in Saskatoon over the weekend, losing out to the Saskatoon Berries. I will say it should be a very entertaining East Division final, but let's hit it. Let's get to the Red Sox report here.
Showcasing the boys of summer. Time for another edition of the Sportscage Regina Red Sox Report on 620 CKRM. Brought to you by Unifor 594. Energy workers. Putting the care in career since 1942. Safety is our business.
It's Tegan Whitco, Dave Thomas, and joining us now, Braydon Cobb, interim field manager for the Regina Red Sox, third year with the franchise. Well, thank you for taking the time here, Braydon.
You betcha. Thanks for having me back on.
So a tough way to end the season in Game 3 up in Saskatoon, falling in the Bridge City. But what did you like about your team's response and ability to battle back late in the season?
Yeah, absolutely. We had a lot of fight in that team. We got down 3-0 early in that game and had all the reasons to kind of just lay over and die, but they found the fight in themselves to tie the game up and keep it close right down to the end. So it just shows their character. They're willing to fight for each other. The dugout never fell for a second. They had each other's backs all the way through, which was really good to see.
I know when you use the word deserve that it's a tough word, but did you deserve better? Because, like you said, the battle, the compete was there all the way through the series.
Sadly, you never deserve anything in sports, but you got to hope things fall your way and the baseball gods have your back in certain situations, and you've seen it a lot last year, and this year they definitely didn't.
Now, Braydon, you took over as the interim coach late in the season. What did you learn about yourself as a coach during, the last stretch of the season here?
Just learned that, I can rise to the occasion. It was all happened really fast, and I kind of just grabbed the bulls by the horns and ran with it, and I think I had the respect of the guys, and they all told me at the end of the year that it was what they wanted and that I did a really well job. So it felt nice to kind of hear that it wasn't just kind of going in my own direction and not having them follow me, and having their support was huge. So I feel like it was successful in that way, and I'm really proud of the way we fought all the way through until the end. They had all their reasons, like I said, to kind of quit with even what was happening in the middle of the season and everything, and it just kept bringing the group tighter and us coaching staff tighter and our coaches and player relationship, and it just kept getting better all the way through.
In retrospect, when you look back at this group, what are your takeaways? Like, for example, all the one-run ball games at the start of the year, the way you competed and pulled away from Medicine Hat to take third spot in the division again after those tough games at the start of the year. What do you look back and take away from this group?
Yeah, I think pretty much just we were right there all year with the best teams. And it showed in that round 3 with the Berries being almost a 40-win club. And like we've seen from the Berries for all 3 years of their existence, they're a powerhouse, and they're built well and coached well by Joe Carnahan over there. He puts on a good program, and we were right there all the whole step of the way with them. Sylvan, all the best teams took out Okotoks for a game. We could play with anybody, and once we kind of got our mojo down the stretch, it kind of showed. We kind of just took over ball games, and like I said in my last interview, once we started playing the game the right way, we'd start winning those one-run ball games, and we did start winning those one-run ball games. It's just not the way we wanted it to finish there in Game 3.
You know, I think for a lot of fans, one of the big memorable wins would have been that first game in the doubleheader on Canada Day at Curry Field. Brady by grand slam walk-off to win that first game. And, you know, Brady specifically being a local product, rewriting the record book, right? I mean, 13 home runs, 67 RBI. What made that production possible for a guy like Brady?
It's just hard work and heart. He loves being a Regina Red Sox, grew up here, and it means a little more to him than anybody. And he's just a talented young guy. His parents raised him right. He's good off the field. He does everything right at all times, and it gives back to you when you give that much into the sport. So there's no words that can describe Brady Bryan, what he means to this organization. If there's a moment that needs to come up clutch, Brady Bye is going to do it and find a way to do it. And he's been that guy ever since I've been here.
Tell me about the experience this year, as there was a lot of additions to the Regina Red Sox off the field that I think maybe translated into some energy on the field. Did you feel that way as well?
Yeah, for sure. It was kind of exciting, new times and new players and everything going on behind the scenes, bringing in new ownership and everything. The scoreboard, everybody was kind of fired up right from the get-go to kind of play here and see what it's like. And yeah, there was a lot of hype going around this year's team.
When you look back at the 2026 Red Sox season, what are you going to remember most?
Just the brotherhood they had in the locker room. I've never seen a group that close before, and even when things weren't going right, they were still loving each other and having each other's backs through and through, which is hard to find these days, especially when things were kind of sour for a while and we were dipping our feet into last place. The belief was always there, and once we got it turned around, you could see it kind of just push us and rally us all the way through.
What do you say to the players at the end of the season, whether it's after the game, on the way back from Saskatoon last night, or when you see them today?
You're just proud of them. You let them know that the city's proud of them, the organization's proud of them, us as a coaching staff are proud of them. They left it all out on the wall, and there's nothing more they could have done to that ball game. Just a couple bounces here and there, and we're heading to Moose Jaw tomorrow, but it's just not the way it played out, and it's nothing on their fault. They did the best they can, and we're insanely proud of them. And you just feel for those seniors that didn't get to feel what we felt last year, so it kind of tugs at your heart. You wish you could get them better and finish off what we were planning to do this year, and it just didn't work out.
So, Braydon, what's next for you? Is it too early to tell at this point, maybe what the 2027 season may have in store for you?
Yeah, we're not even 24 hours after this loss yet here. We're still kind of feeling it and trying to just get through it and get to the other side of things. We were cleaning out the lockers today, so that's always kind of a tough moment, saying goodbye to guys and kind of lining up what's next for all those guys, helping the seniors get where they need to go and with pro opportunities, and getting our guys that are still in college figured out a way back to college and hoping they have good seasons, and just trying to figure out how to get guys in different situations. So there hasn't been much thought about anything like that. Obviously, being here for 3 years, it's a dream come true for me, playing for the hometown, coaching for the hometown team, and being a part of it, watching it as I grew up, watching guys like Mitch. So it's a dream for me, and I obviously want to continue that.
Does roster evaluation happen at this time, or do you take a little bit of a further step back?
You kind of give it about a week or two to kind of just sink in and feel what you're feeling and evaluate what happened, and then you kind of take a look at pieces where the seniors are going to leave a bit of a hole and where you need to fill those holes, and kind of where things happened and where you got to fix things, and see how you make yourself a better ball club for the next season. So there's a little bit of a break, but not much, because you want to get as much time as possible to kind of fill holes and make your team good.
Braydon, maybe we'll get you out on this. looking back at the entire 2026 season, I know it's still raw, and I'm sure emotions are heightened in that clubhouse, but what do you say to the fans and the volunteers?
It's hard to put that into words, too. They're the reason that it makes coming to the Ball Diamond every day fun. The fans drive us. They make us feel appreciated, and we just try our best every day, day in, day out, to make them proud of us. And when we put on that Regina sweater and gear, we just hope that we're doing it the best we can and making everybody proud.
Interim field manager Braydon Cobb joining us for the Red Sox Report. Unfortunately, this will be the last one of the season, but don't be a stranger, and we really appreciate you taking the time, Braydon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, and hopefully we can catch up next year.
Absolutely. Take care. That was Braydon Cobb joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Of course, your final Red Sox report of the season, brought to you by Unifor Local 594. But there is still some baseball to be watching. As you know, Braydon mentioned, in Moose Jaw tomorrow, there's going to be the Saskatoon Berries in Game 1, best of three series. Pardon me. That's going to be some wild baseball games to watch.
My assumption is 7 o'clock start, as the WCBL website last time I looked didn't have a solid start, but I'm assuming it's 7 o'clock tomorrow, as well as 7 up in Saskatoon on Wednesday.
Typically it's a 7:05 first pitch if it's on a weeknight, so I would anticipate that would be the same. I don't know, just get to the ballpark early just to be safe.
Absolutely. Get a
There's no harm in that.
Why not?
Yeah. They have a nice little ballpark there. Roswell's Park in Moose Jaw.
Yeah, it's a nice, cozy ballpark.
Yeah. Beautiful mural on the outside of it. I've spent many nights in Roswell's Park. So check it out if you like some good baseball. This is what it comes down to. East Division Final. So I also want to remind you to get in on that Saskatchewan Roughrider 50-50. Riders5050.ca. Just one more reminder here. You get a Montreal getaway for 2 if you happen to be the early bird winner. So that's accommodations, flights, 4 nights, downtown Montreal, $4,500 in cash if you don't want to take the trip. Riders5050.ca. Okay, we're going to take that break now. We'll be back in just a little bit here. It's a Sports Cage, and it's on the home of local sports. 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
Since 1942, Unifor 594 has safely served the community and the ever-changing energy sector. We are the unionized workers at the Co-op Refinery in Regina and the Co-op Ethanol Complex in Belle Plaine. We are process operators, tradespeople, lab techs, warehouse workers, tank car loaders, administration staff, and so much more. Unifor 594 workers are also your neighbors, your friends, your volunteers, your community. Unifor 594. Safety is our business.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. Don't just hang a door, install a Steelcraft. Turn curb appeal into curb envy.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Steel-craft.ca.
The Roughriders season is here, and the biggest 50-50 in Saskatchewan is back. Last year's 50-50 raised over $3.3 million for amateur football in Saskatchewan, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Rider Nation. This year, we have bigger loyalty and early bird prizes than ever before, not to mention those life-changing 50-50 jackpots. See all of the prizes and buy your tickets today at riders5050.ca, and never miss a chance to win when you sign up for the 50-50 Club.
Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Lottery license LR260010.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. Powered by Prairie Land Rentals. From power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need for your job. 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. Welcome back to Sports Cage. Check out our podcast powered by Freeze Tolman. Available anytime, anywhere at 620ckrm.com and sportscage.com.
Monday, it's some installment of the Sports Cage brought to you by Sask today, the provincial leader in news, sports, ag news, everything you need, sasktoday.ca. I'm Tegan Wicko with Dave Thomas, Curtis Gammon, also with us, Backgammon, we like to call him. So we're just about, I'm sticking with it.
Yes, fair enough.
I'm
Sorry.
stealing it from Barty and I'm making it, no, I'm not going to make it my own, but it's stuck now. We only have a couple minutes left here, Dave. A couple of things that I did want to bring up, though, because I know you're a guy who likes to look up history, sports history.
Okay, fair.
On this day,
Yes.
history. So there was one from 1995 that you had.
Yes, on this day in 1995, the Quebec Nordique became the Colorado Avalanche officially.
Ugh, gross. Also, 2005. There was something in 2005 you had, didn't you?
Saskatchewanians were upset on this day 21 years ago because gas stations had to make renovations across the province. Gas shot up to 99.9 cents a liter, and gas stations had to renovate their signs and put a 1 for an anticipated price change of over $1 a liter.
And that was 2005?
2005.
Minimum wage, by the way, $7.05 an hour. Effective, September 1st, 2005. So just to put things in perspective, fuel prices were 99.9 cents and we were making $7 an hour.
Wow.
Yeah. I guess that wasn't really a sports related one, but I do have another. On this day, Jose Bautista was announced to be officially signing a one-day contract to retire as a member of the Toronto Blue Jays. August 10th, 2023. So he signed that ceremonial one-day contract after 10 seasons with the Jays. Came in. I like when they do those one-day contracts.
Really?
I do. It's sentimental. It's an opportunity to say farewell to the fans that helped make your career. Am I wrong? You gave me the look like you disagree with me.
You know what? I honestly thought that those were all just semantics, right? I just thought, okay, he's going to come and sign a piece of paper, whatever. But actually, some of them are actually legit. Like, they go on the roster for 1 day. So in some leagues, depending which league it is, you actually have to make sure you have a roster spot, right? To have them sign the 1 day and then retire, right? And it's like, really?
There's actually a little more to it.
Is it really that okay? Again, I just thought, oh, okay, it's just you do what you do. It's a nice gesture, but
because you have to do that in the CFL, correct? Like, you need to ensure that there's actually a roster spot available
to sign a guy to a 1 day contract. So that's why sometimes they will happen amid free agency or whatever.
Right, free agency or an off the bye week or something like that, just so they can fiddle around with it. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, Jose Bautista does not feel like it was the bat flip king 3 years ago. Came back for a 1 day contract. So there you go. We nerded out. We looked back at today in history. I guess it's not just sports history because we also talked about how expensive life is now.
You probably got to get going. I know your vehicle, you don't like all the bells and whistles, so you got to feed the horses before you go home. So get them ready to,
This is why Mondays are always interesting, because I'm on very little sleep.
Yeah.
And apparently I just like to complain. So my apologies. My apologies. If you missed out on anything throughout the show, by the way, all of the craziness and more, go back.
It's all posted. Podcast form.
Hey, he's doing my job for me.
Yeah, there you go. I'll do my one comment of the day. It's fun fact. I've never won a game of backgammon in my life. We'll get there though eventually.
Hey, if you want to bring a backgammon board, we'll play. Guaranteed you're going to beat me.
No, guaranteed I'll lose. I just told you. 0% win rate. 100% loss rate.
I have never played the game of backgammon.
You're not missing out on much. It's an okay game. Not going to lie.
I'm a mean snap or old maid guy, but never done backgammon.
Yeah, I'm good. It's fine. It's still going to be your nickname. It's locked in, so I'm sorry about that. You'll survive. But thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem, Tegan. Let me know when you want me to come in and produce again. Just
okay.
Say the word. I'll make it happen.
Anytime. I do believe, however,
Colson will be back.
Colson is back.
Yes.
Barney is back tomorrow. Dave and I will be back next Monday. Of course, in the meantime, in between time, you can always follow along, 620 CKRM, sportscage.com, as Curtis mentioned, or Backgammon mentioned. You can always find your podcasts brought to you by Freeze Tallman Lumber anywhere that you find podcasts, okay? Go back, listen to our conversation with Darian Durant or Braydon Cobb, or, we had the Riders Coaches Show on today, and of course, also coming off the gold medal up in Saskatoon with the Senior Women's National Tournament football. Female football that just wrapped up over the weekend. So we are going to sign off for the night. Have a good one. Drive safe. And we'll do this again next week. 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
Rider Nation, don't miss a second. Hear every Saskatchewan Roughriders game live on sportscage.com or on our YouTube channel. Big plays, big hits all season long. Powered by Reliance Heath Home Water Heater Rentals.
Get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza is like spending quality time with your significant other. When it's hot, it's awesome. When it's cold, it's awesome. And it's even better when it's Western Pizza. Unlike fast food, you can warm the leftovers up at work the next day and not stink out the lunchroom, like Dolores and her fish. Or go for a walk at lunch and eat it cold. The world is your oyster. But this time, your oyster is delicious Western Pizza.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. Combined with a LiftMaster opener,